I think everything's working properly. Gonna make sure everything starts up correctly. Sure that's muted too. Oh, goodness gracious. I am so ready for this shit. Let me also mute my phone, make sure everything's working good. I had a busy day. I was doing all kinds of clipping stuff for for the YouTube channel. Hang on. I am live. Ooh. There we go. We're gonna be doing some YouTube today. We're gonna be watching some stuff. I really like reaction content up, but we're gonna give people a few minutes to get into the thing, and then we'll get going from there. We got a couple videos we're gonna watch today. I got at least four. So if people don't want to, so if there's not a lot of stuff that people want me to watch, I do have a few curated videos for it. I think we're pretty good though, right? Like I said, I want to wait just a minute for people to get in here. Hello, Magin. How are you doing? Currently just waiting for a few people. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for popping in. Let's see. Everything should be good. I mean, we could. Oops. Wrong account, Mama Kelpie. Oh, I think you're Jinx. Right? I think that's your. If you want, I could delete those messages if you don't want people to know your personal account. I've done that too. My nose has been runny lately. I hope it's not like allergies, because I feel fine. But I've been walking in the woods a lot lately. Please delete them? Okay, I can do that. I got you covered. Got you covered, homie. Removed. It's like it never even happened. Okay. You're welcome. You are more than welcome. Okay, let me do... Nah. More owls? No, I haven't seen any more owls lately. No, I just saw the one. Very, very beautiful owl, though. Very, very majestic. Beautiful creature. I'm gonna give people maybe like another minute. If not, we could just watch it between us. So, how's your day going, Jinx? Hope you're doing well. Had a good weekend? I saw that you were streaming earlier before. Hope that went well. How's the Minecraft thing going? I've noticed you've been playing a lot of Minecraft. Getting drinks from my runny nose. Okay. Well, I guess we could start here. I got a couple things. Like I said, I got a couple things curated. The first one we're gonna watch is this one by Talido. I think that's how you pronounce his name. His stuff's really good. It's copying, plagiarism, and stealing in the VTuber community, which is something that's always kind of crazy and happens all the time. Good, yeah, it's an easy game to play, surprisingly. Yeah, Minecraft ain't hard. It's very straightforward. The difficulty comes from some of the monsters and just being careless. As long as you're not careless, most people can play that kind of stuff pretty easily. But I'm glad it's going for you. Glad you're having fun. God, I gonna make me sound kind of old, but I remember when that shit first came out. I got into, I don't know if it was like one of the later betas or maybe it was like right after the betas, like right when it first came out. But it was like only $15. Not even. I think it was like $10. And like there's not as many stuff. Vanilla Minecraft was so bare bones compared to the original or compared to what it is now for sure. Okay, but we're gonna get into this. We're gonna watch some videos. This one's actually kind of interesting because I remember though. I don't know if you guys remember the whole like small Lola and Shy Lily controversy on like Twitter. Everybody was flipping their lid because there was a VTuber that looked exactly like Shy Lily. Personally, I don't care, but I understand why people would be like upset by it. Especially if it was like if it's your artwork. But also I believe like imitation is the best form of flattery. But I think there is also a fine line between imitation and copying, right? We're gonna learn about that today.
Copying. We've all
Copying.
probably done it at some point in our lives. Looking
Yeah.
over someone else's answers on a test.
Oh, you're cheating!
Repeating what your friend says to piss them off. Or mimicking the popular memes and trends.
I don't know if you're have you guys we're already into it, I'm already pausing, but have you guys ever seen let me see if I can't go back for it. This show, Panty and Stalking. I wish they would make a second season. They left it on such a such a cock tease cliffhanger that it's like it's like drifters, you know. I'm gonna be lurking. I'm spending time with my soon to be wife. All right. I appreciate you lurking. I'm just gonna keep watching, see what goes on. Actually, you know what? Let me message one person real quick, and then I'm gonna keep going. There we go. Just letting them know something. Okay. So yeah, but this show is so good. I like that it was more in an Americanized style, even though it was like an anime. But it was I wish they would also make. I think they're making a season 2, but I'm not entirely sure.
Or mimicking the popular memes and trends.
I wish they
you see
will.
online.
I
Most
look
cases,
forward to it
copying
once
is
they do.
Nothing too problematic, unless
Mhm.
at school I'd advise you to actually get your education. But these are more personal.
No, you
or
just have your
fun
friend do your homework
situations.
for
When it
you.
comes to
Find a
profiting from
nerd, befriend
copying
them,
in
and then get them to
business
do your
and
homework
media,
for you.
Copy my whole flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
It has far more problems. There's a well-known dilemma in the content space of YouTubers copying other YouTubers, stealing other people's ideas and styles, taking others' content for their own benefit, or mimicking an entire creator's personality. These acts are seen as shameful, rightfully, and usually get called.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get why they do it. Again, I don't agree with it, but I kind of get it. They're looking to they're looking to like piggyback off the views of other people, right? They are looking for a more how should I put this? They're basically looking for a they're looking to siphon views from people who would be looking at these kind of creators and hopefully like trick people into watching them instead. But that's not really a sustainable way to generate views and revenue if you think about it because if the algorithm changes or if trends change and you know something doesn't change with and if you aren't able to change with that or create a sustainable I can't even think of the word fuck. Oh, I'm just gonna keep watching. It'll come to me in a minute.
There's a community where copying creates a
Sustainable. God, I need to think of this word. Fuck. I don't know.
more
Fuck it.
controversial
Yellow swag.
dilemma.
I'll remember it later.
VTubers, virtual entertainers who use animated avatars for content instead of their go-to faces, is a vast industry built around artistic creativity. But as an artistic industry, people have many principles around what art entails.
And they should.
People value not just good content, they value individuality and originality. And with thousands upon thousands of VTubers that see...
I mean, yeah, and individuality is always good, but it's also a lot of them are anime, and everybody looks the same in anime, you know. Hashtag not racist, but like if even just like looking at this picture, it's like, oh, look at all these anime girls, but they all have the same eyes, same facial features, plus or minus a couple couple different ones like this guy and this guy. But for the most part, everybody looks pretty much the same. And at that point, it's like, how do you differentiate? Like, where does it stop being copying and where does it start being a stylistic choice, right?
See and perceive each other, and a lot of people wanting to do what works to get popular, things, whether intentionally or unintentionally, begin to overlap. There's a lot of drama surrounding copying, plagiarism, and stealing. VTubers harassed for having similar assets to others, a VTuber whose incessant
I also have a confession to make. So my tail, I did not intend. So as you could probably tell, my tail is similar to like Shy Lily's tail a little bit. I did not know who Shy Lily was when I made this design. Hello, Chris. How are you? Um, I'm making a bit of a confession. Well, not really confession, just a clarification. I did not intentionally copy Shy Lily's tail design. I literally looked up whale tails, and I'm like, oh, that would be kind of cool for like a kelpie water type creature, because I was trying to go for like a Loch Ness monster kind of look. Whoops, wrong account. Everybody's on the wrong accounts today. It's all good. It's all good. But and then like when I started, I was like, oh shit, my tail's like super similar to hers, and I was like, yellow swag. And then like this whole drama and the small Lola drama happened. It's like, okay, so it's not an exact copy. Plus, I do have some like stylistic choices that have so far been my own, like with the stationary pattern design, which I would be okay with people if they copied me. But I always, that's always like in the back of my mind if someone's like, oh my god, your tail looks just like hers. It's like, I really didn't intentionally copy hers, and I just want to clarify that.
imitations
How
of
are
one
you doing,
popular
MM
VTuber led to
Ian?
industry-wide
Hope you're doing
chaos,
well.
or a VTuber profiting thousands off of a right they never owned. It is a
Yeah.
wild dilemma.
That I
And
don't
feel
agree
like
with.
yapping again. But before we get into that, I need to make something heavily clear. Do not harass, attack, or dig into anyone mentioned in this video. They'll be
Agreed.
on some weird shit. So,
Let's talk about it.
hey yo, it's Toledo, that fallen angel kicked out of heaven. Get some snacks, get some water, get your friends' homework answers, and let's get on to video.
I really like this. I really like this kid creator. He's very memeable. He's very on top of memes. He's very, very interesting. I'm doing good. That's good. I'm glad you're doing well. I appreciate you popping in the chat for sure.
Let's fall back a couple of years. Enter the late 2010s. With the rise of Kazuna
We're learning
Ai,
about
the
plagiarism,
four
by the way.
Heavenly Kings, and agencies like Hololive and Niji Sanji dominating the market over everybody, VTubing became an established Japanese industry. However, in 2020, companies would venture to the West to capture that untapped English-speaking market, Hololive being the first to jump at that opportunity. And right from these VTubers' debut,
Was it Hololive that first came to the West, or was it Niji Sanji? I thought Hololive was the first one to get like super big in Japan, but were they the first one to come into? I'd say I'd be here after I shave. Oh, no worries. I figured you would be. I didn't want to like push you though. Sorry for messaging you. We're just doing some reaction. I think we talked about that a little bit earlier. But I don't know if Hololive was the first one to the West. Was it Niji? You know what? I'm gonna look that up real quick. Hang on. Was it Niji Sanji? Technically, Kizuna AI was the first VTuber in the West, I think. Really? Well, yeah, technically. I mean, didn't she collab with PewDiePie? But I'm talking like I think when I say VTuber, I mean like corporations, right? First corporation. First to move west. I'm like 80% Niji. It's Niji Sanji, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Was Google didn't help me out at all with that. Severely disappointed. Whatever. I guess it really doesn't matter.
Forcing everyone online.
Yeah.
The VTubing golden age began.
But I do remember
millions of
Kizuna
more fans
AI
medium. But
for
it didn't
sure.
just leave its
And that's a
impact on the
company
viewers,
too, but I
no,
don't
no.
think
The
that's
growth
one
of
person. I
VTubers
think that's a group of
worldwide led
people.
Tens of thousands to see these VTubers say, I want to do that too, and jump into the growing industry as virtual performers.
True.
Either by auditioning and joining a VTuber agency, or taking the path as an independent creator. So enter person A, who wants to become a popular VTuber. Person A knows Fuck all what it means to be a successful VTuber.
That was
Compared to
me.
typical content creation, this shit's all hella new and many people don't know what works. But these VTubers over here are blowing up and holding these audiences well with their personality, character.
Hang on, did my chat disconnect? Keep saying my chat keeps disconnect. I don't know why it keeps connecting and disconnecting. I don't know what that is. I gotta see about fixing that.
Design, voice, and style of content. Light bulb.
I think I'm about to steal!
A lot of aspiring VTubers would use popular VTubers as inspiration. Others would imitate the attributes that were best received in the market. And some would just copy what's trending. Gargur is known for her archetype, voice, and demeanor. Countless VTubers with the same
I mean, there is again, like I said before, imitation is the best form of flattery. As long as they're just not outright stealing designs and stuff, I think it's okay to slightly, now if you're outright stealing ideas completely, like if you're getting to the point where like people can't tell the difference between you guys, and I have seen some VTubers do that, like completely cloning them, that's fine. But I think inspiration is fine, right? I don't think there's a problem with like taking something you're inspired by and then like rolling with it. But if you're outright just copying them and trying to, I guess the word would be siphon their audience, because trying to siphon them by being so much like them that they think you're them, I do think that's where the line should be drawn. But you can't really police shit like that too much because stuff changes. You know what I mean? I'm having a hard time putting it into words.
Popularity, and she had a pink cat avatar. Wow, what a coincidence! I wanted to be a cute cat girl too. And
Yeah.
they all are fucking pink. A new song is popular and people are covering it. Know that one anime meme that makes fun of how repetitive or unoriginal isekai anime are? The same bland everyman protagonist, the same fantasy setting, the same conventionally attractive supporting female.
Hello, Jackie. You can't police it, but you can judge it. That's true. That's true, and you should judge it. I think you should try to go for originality, but sometimes things just work, and as especially in the content creation sphere, you can't, as long as you don't outright steal it. I think taking inspiration is fine. But if you are actually stealing, oops, I didn't mean to do that. If you are actually stealing content and stealing personality and all that stuff, not just without credit, but just like to bolster yourself up and like make it seem like it's original, that's where I do draw a line. I do think you should judge it, and judge it harshly at that point, and try to encourage and support creators that do have more of an original sense of identity, right? I think that's a good way of explaining. How are you today, Jackie? Hope you're doing well. We're learning about plagiarism, as you can see. But also sometimes people just want to do things too, like, heaven forgive me if I just want to do the thing that's fun that everyone else is doing. Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, look at it this way. So if everybody's playing the same game and you want to play that game, that's fine. If there's somebody playing the game and they have a catchphrase and they have a style on their channel and they have like certain memes, and then you just outright copy every one of those and attempt to just copy them, that's just copying, right? I'm doing great, just troubleshooting computer stuff. I feel that. We've all been there. I hope it gets sorted out soon, for sure. Appreciate you popping in.
It's not that isekai anime are that unoriginal.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just lied to your face. It's more that despite the isekai trope having so much potential, the market has trends. Market demand shows
that's what I'm
consumers
talking about.
love
Trends
those
is a good way to put it.
attributes mentioned. And these writers, whether
there are gonna be trends that work continuously, and as long as they continue to work, people will continue to copy them. But you can't outright steal people's identities. I've seen it with artists before a lot. There's a lot of popular artists whose styles got copied by like 3 other people, and they all got popular off that one style, even though the OG artist had like 200K followers. I've seen that too, and that's awful. I've actually have seen that too. You'll see like a couple people, and there's like, oh, this one's like the older one, right? But again, like even still, you can't. again, like with art, as long as you're not like tracing or outright copying or even stealing designs, imitation of style is something that you can't control. I mean, like how many art students had to like imitate Picasso, to learn and stuff. And I think it's fine if you learn it, but over time, art styles do get repetitive. Art styles do repeat itself, whether intentionally or unintentionally. I mean, like look at the Cal art style, right? If you guys have seen any Cartoon Network show ever, they're made by different people, but the style is like pretty much all the same because that's a style that ended up working really well for Cartoon Network and Disney and stuff. It's they call it the Cal art style, but not all these artists come from Cal art school. So it's like at some point, even though they all look similar and there's some similar imitation in their design, they're not the same show. Like Star versus the Force of Evil is not the same as We Three Bears, or Gravity Falls, or World of Gumball, right? Like they're all completely different shows and different feelings, thoughts, and everything's, but the stylistic is there. So you can't even really police style, even though we should say, yeah, we have to support the original artist's style, but at the same time, like people imitate each other all the time, or even they might develop a similar style that's different from uh similar style separately from from a different artist, right? And it might seem like they're copying, but at the same time they might not have even known it and developed it that way. So really, so I don't even think in that case you can really police it, but the only way you can, as long as it still has some original ideas in it, real original identity, like none of these shows are the same, but they all have the same style. Does that make sense? Like they're original shows that influence each other based on appearances. That's what I'm getting at. Like you can't enforce style, but you can judge plagiarism, right?
Authentic or not, are just filling that in with maybe a singular twist to be successful. So this applies to any type of media and entertainment, including VTubers.
I mean, like even my style, right? My character design. One thing I always say that is I took direct inspiration from Chowder with the stationary pattern design. That's something I took direct inspiration from. But obviously I'm not using the same patterns and I'm not implementing it in the same way. So you can't so the key is you have to be able to tell the difference between inspiration and just outright stealing. And sometimes that's not always easy, and it's not always black and white either. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. And we need to we as a community, whether it's the VTuber community, art community, or just the internet community as a whole, have to like teach ourselves to identify what is and isn't plagiarism. And something like if it is black and white, like tracing or AI, or just like changing the color of something, like that's obviously plagiarism. But if you make a completely different character design and then as someone else makes another completely different character but looks similar in design, you have to question is like, well, is it inspiration or is it copying? Because if it's because you can't really call someone out if it's a different character and different character but the same design, right? Because then they could say, well, I just took inspiration from it, and they could have. So it becomes a morally gray area that people really don't understand or even really want to talk about.
It's natural for businesses to supply and market themselves around what works for the target demographic.
Yeah.
But despite a medium where you can be literally anything, everyone was hella similar. Sometimes a bit too similar.
I think that's
accusations of copying.
I think that's just anime in general, though. Anime is very like most anime look similar because there's a formula for like eyes and appearances and stuff like that. I think that's very hard to call that stealing. Again, as long as there's like originality in it, shit's gonna end up looking the same nonetheless because it's stylistic choice.
plagiarism and straight up stealing. Earlier, I mentioned the many instances of content creators copying and them getting called out. However,
Yeah.
I purposely omitted the copying accusations with far less of a basis. Are you an energetic black VTuber that loves playing video games? You're a Kori Kenshin clone. Do you play Minecraft but with unique challenges? You're a Dream clone.
Yeah.
You edit your videos with reaction memes, sound effects, and media B-roll
Exactly,
when talking about random
exactly.
shit? You're a degenerosity clone. Wait a minute. Well, there are definitely people who copy these YouTubers even down to the script. Sometimes it's either a mere coincidence, a spin from inspiration, or just being a similar identity group.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying. This is why I should leave it to the video guy to tell it like it is. He was able to explain it way better than I did. Like there's so many other circumstances. You can't just say, "Oh, you're copying me," when there could be other things that influence you and
And in
stuff.
bad cases, people can get harassed or receive threats for
Yeah.
it. So hear me out. I've seen my fair share of VTuber ripoffs, copying dramas, and people just stealing shit. Whether that's tracing, AI generation, or another
That's
VTuber's
wrong.
flow.
That's all wrong. Tracing, AI generation, boo, 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 boo. Don't like that.
Remember a VTuber
I would
app
consider
got
that
called out
plagiarism
for
and
having
copying.
designs that were inspired from other agency VTubers. I remember when one of my mutuals, Kashin Shinobi, got his shit completely ripped by an Etsy artist.
See, that does. Let's look back for a second. Hang on, because I think that is actually.
I remember when one of my
That just looks straight up stolen. That's not inspiration. That's stolen. They just took out the bands and took out like the undershirt, but like even the t-shirts are the same. The hair's the same color. That's I would outright say that's copying. That's cross the border from like, oh, I like this design. I'm gonna take inspiration from it to, oh, this is a great design. Let me just yoink it.
my mutuals, Kashin Shinobi, got his shit completely ripped
that's
by an
wrong.
Etsy
That's
artist.
straight up
like,
wrong.
who is this?
Who are these niggas?
VTuber copy
And they tried to sell it too. That's extra scummy. You take a design and try to sell it as your own. That's icky.
copying and plagiarism drama goes literally everywhere, and we'll get into the really crazy cases
Yeah.
of VTuber plagiarism in
There's a
bit,
lot
but
of them though.
first, Idol Corp's Yuko Yurei, before she,
Aw,
died, made a viral short where
she died. Wait, she died. Hang on.
Idol Corp's Yuko Yurei, before she, died, made
Oh, dude, hang on. Dude, it goes too quickly. I need to be able to read it.
Idol Corp's
Hang on.
Yuko Yurei, before she, died,
There we go. We are sad to announce that graduation of Yuko Yurei from Idol, respectable initials Yuki, host will stream May 31st, 2004, following a 5-day marathon stream starting today. Did she actually die, or did something actually happen to her? Or did she just graduate?
made a viral
I'm going to say the benefit of the doubt and say she just graduated, because I don't want to. Pretty sure she slept with a bunch of fans or something. Wasn't she the one who? I don't think that's the one who did that. I don't know. I do think there is one that did that, but I don't think that was this one. If there was, then it's not the only case. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go on the benefit of doubt and say she's still alive and not gone from this world, because I'd like to look at it from the better side of things.
short where she
But I'm
banned
not
the
sure.
topic Gargura because people were attacking her design, voice, and mannerisms based on Gura's existence.
Yeah.
She is a big inspiration of mine. However, I am my own individual. I am Yuko Yurei, Idol Corp's Ghost Boogie Blaster.
Also, she was definitely different from Gura in another way. We don't talk about the girlfriend experience members concept.
Yeah.
During her first months,
Oh
MTV
shit, she was. Oh shit, she did do that. Girlfriend experience. Don't sleep with your fans. That's not healthy.
YouTuber Ray Bubbles got tons of shit due to being called a ripoff of Gargura. And niggas got me scumming my eyes like Mr. Krabs.
Is
He
that?
said Gura was an inspiration for her.
I mean, Garo Girl doesn't have like a lockdown on sharks. I think her design is. There's very clearly inspiration between her
Got
and
tons of
Gargura,
shit due to being called a ripoff of.
but I think there's a difference in their design to where you could claim this is inspiration, right? Like, not like just because someone goes the shark route doesn't necessarily mean that it's a that it's a complete ripoff. There is definitely some like similarities, but like, especially in the chest area, there's like it's definitely not the same character, right?
Gura. And niggas got me scumming my eyes like Mr. Krabs. He said Gura was a
Yeah, see, even like the shark hoodie design is different enough. It's a different color. There's like little markings that are different, and hers is like a full jacket, while I think it's just a hoodie for her. And again, there's so many hoodie designs of like different animals. I would not say that's a complete
an
ripoff.
inspiration. Her hoodie is similar. All I see is the color blue. I forgot when on
Yeah.
her debut day, Gargura officially copyrighted hoodies. And even so, I don't see
Yeah,
any point
exactly.
harassing anyone over it. Do you not see the big difference? Shotty out here with their chest out, then I look at Gargura like,
Kelly, that's not Earth, right? Dude, that's completely flat. That's 100% flat.
Abelia during her debut month.
But that you could say they took inspiration, but that's clearly not a copy. That I would not say that's a copy at all.
For being a supposed Shy Lily clone due to, hey y'all, come look at this. Her bangs.
Oh my god.
Y'all niggas care way too much. Both would a year later get 2.0s and new designs.
Aw,
And the factor for
that
Abelia
was a
getting
cute
new
design.
design was because she was tired of being constantly compared to Shy Lily. And let me list some other copying accusations I've seen. The constant Catgirl VTubers compared to Nyanners. Rini was compared to one of Nyanners.
That's not even the same design. It was a Rero Ron. I remember that name. Rero Ron was that, but apparently I think you were right earlier because he mentioned it. Mentioned that as like, oh, the girlfriend experience. I was like, uh-oh. Maybe got a little too personal with the girlfriend experience. But yeah, this isn't the same design. Again, cat girls are not mutually exclusive to one VTuber. Right? There are other, like, I'm a Kelpie, but there are other Kelpie VTubers out there. Right? So like you can't claim something when there's like a dozen other ones, right?
Nyanners' new models. Mariumi was compared to not just Nyanners, but the white cat girl from Nekopara.
Hey, who man is this?
I think that again, like it's very silly.
Sanji's Watarai Hibari got compared to False ID and got some pretty rude comments because of it. We kind of got people on TikTok comparing him to Genshin characters when he came before Genshin.
You gotta ask Genshin why they modeled their characters after my final.
Hell yeah.
VTubers make posts about being compared to Nina Kasaka.
And I think that's also going back to it just being a factor of anime on its own. Anime in general is just eventually it all looks the same because the stylistic design and stuff is very similar. So I think that just boils down to everybody's just an anime character and that there's a lot of overlapping.
And I wouldn't be surprised if some demon VTubers out there got compared to Iron Mouse.
Yeah.
TLDR, whether it's coincidence or totally some inspiration, I'm not in the territory to care or even worse harass people over it. And it's gotten bad to the point
Yeah, you
that
shouldn't
VTubers
harass
have had
people.
to ban other VTubers' names just to stop it from happening. But whether those allegations go anywhere or not, they don't really have any big community-shaking effects. The drama fizzles out as it's from
Yeah.
nobodies and people move on.
Eventually
Unless
people
these
stop caring.
comparisons get the attention of bigger content creators. In 2022, indie VTuber Shy Lily would make a grand model debut that blew her up in pop.
Again, just want to clarify, I didn't rip off Shy Lily. I just literally looked up whale tails and we ended up with a similar looking tail.
Popularity.
Also, hers looks better than mine, so I don't think she's gonna be hurting.
Something noticed about Shy Lily though was her voice.
What's your accent? I'm German.
She had a high German accent, a bit different from the stereotypical Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. The voice and
Yeah.
accent would lead a lot of viewers to compare her to then Shoujo VTuber Vei, known for
Oh.
her British Polish accent.
Please don't clip it, please.
Oh, okay, so Shy Lily is the one being accused of imitation, but I don't think Shy Lily was. You can't imitate an accent. You can't like steal an accent.
After
I don't
incessant
think.
comments, replies, and comparisons on her stream, Vei would make a response about Shy Lily that would spark controversy.
Dude, quite clueless. You're fucking quite clueless. Please don't talk about that. It's creepy to me, and I don't like it.
She does
and
kinda
I
sound
hate
like
it,
her, but I don't
actually,
think
because
she
my
stole it.
from 4 months ago, that person did not sound like me.
Oh, what? Really?
So, now that they do,
It's weird, so we don't talk about it. You ever search my doppelgang channel? Bro, at that
Uh,
point, I'm at a point where it's like,
do you
you know
have
what
proof that
settles
she
for
stole it?
less? Go ahead. Are you good the
Again, accents are not something you can steal because they're universal depending on region and stuff like that. But if she's saying that she's copying your accent because she thinks it's cuter or something, um, you better have proof that she didn't sound like that before and that she, like it's very, very, very. Again, there's definitely a similarity, but they could just be from the same area, right? Like how many fucking VTubers have American accents? God forbid. So, like, I don't know. I don't know about this one, Chief.
you good the OG?
Shiloh would, of course,
She better have proof, is what I'm saying, before I buy into
hear
that.
of this response and ultimately wish to keep drama at a low.
Just tsundere, ignore it. Yeah, just ignore it. No drama, only love, exactly. We need drama.
I mean,
It
it's
sounds
just a
like
German
we
accent.
don't even sound alike.
But people had opinions, of course. This would end up creating widespread criticism against Vey while raising Shiloh up in popularity even more. Some viewers understood why Vey would be peeved about the constant comments about the subject, as that
Yeah,
definitely fucked
I mean, I can understand why she'd be upset if people were constantly commenting on it, but again, you can't make an accusation like that without proof.
with your mental, but putting down Shy Lily was not the way of dealing
Yeah.
with it. Others were happy to uplift Shy Lily and saw it as a promotion of shorts. But this drama is old as shit. Both
Yeah.
of them are on good terms now, and I'm like 90%
Good.
certain that
I'm good they're on good terms. I don't think Shy Lily copied her accent because I don't think I've ever seen a clip where Shy Lily didn't sound like Shy Lily. Right? It's gonna be one of those things that, like, again, she probably made the accusation in annoyance. I don't want to, like, outright accuse her of being malicious about it, but even if you're annoyed, you can't make that kind of claim without proof, especially in a community that does take stealing styles very seriously.
don't attack or be rude, it ain't that deep. So what if things don't
Yeah.
sound similar, but look similar? Wow.
That's a little bit.
Lily, a newly debuted indie VTuber, would reveal her model on Twitter and had many people compare her to Powder, a known indie VTuber, due to color scheme, species,
There's a
white hair,
similar
purple horns,
similarity,
stuff like that. Powder's
but-
subtweet being aware of the lookalike for a while now.
I mean, there's a similarity to it, but, like, I don't want to. I feel like there's a bit more going on with hers, and also the styling is different, but the horns are so similar that I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't, like, direct rip from it. But again, like, it's not. It's a black and white, so, like, how much did she actually rip from it, right? Or how much was it just inspiration? I do think she could have done more with her design to set herself apart, and that would have probably helped with the accusations, because obviously this chick doesn't own purple horns and white hair and purple eyes. She could easily gotten all that stuff and just made it more or less unique, but there's definitely kind of something going on there.
White hair, purple horns, stuff like that. Powder's subtweet
Yeah.
being aware of the lookalike for a while now would also bring more eyes to the story. She would also post DMs from viewers mentioning the alleged look.
I will say I hate subtweets. I hate subtweets. If you got something to say, fucking say it. Subtweeting is just something people do to be petty without actually stepping out of their comfort zone. Fucking, if you got something to say it, bitch. It's probably more of a asset thing. I mean, there are also only so many assets YouTuber designers can use, That's true. And I agree with that.
Lookalike to
But I also think you can do a bit more to create some not just like if you outright copy someone, it's not going to work in the long term. You do need something that separates yourself from the other VTubers, even if you take inspiration from other people. If you end up just, for lack of a better term, stealing ideas, and you end up being a complete clone, you're not going to last a long time because people are going to go back to the original one, right? So it's not a sustainable way to create views and build a community. But there is But again, like, inspiration is fine as long as you do something to make it your own. But I don't think she did enough to make it her own. That's the thing. I do feel like it's a bit too similar, and that if she really wanted to grow as not as a VTuber, but as a content creator, she would need to do something a bit more with her next design.
To her.
For
This
sure.
has a hella winded situation I'll try to quickly summarize for how both sides feel. Lily defended herself with her side. She was well aware of Powder during the design process, but had her own inspirations during redesigning. Ultimately deciding, hey, I'm gonna do my own thing. Combos with her, Powder, and the artist happened, but despite Lily explaining her deep personal reasoning for choices, Powder ultimately didn't believe her.
Yeah.
This felt crushing for Lily. Later, when Powder was asked,
I mean, there's definitely some inspiration, but again, she could have done a little bit more, especially since she was familiar with it. Especially since she was familiar with Powder, she should have made a little bit more of an effort, in my opinion, to separate herself from
if there
it.
was anything about the work in progress that concerned her, she would cut combos. She's well aware of the designs being similar with color palette and lore name, but see
That
both
doesn't
her
help
and
the
Powder as
accusation.
different personalities and wishes to continue what she loves, which is streaming. Powder would push
That doesn't help. I mean, personality takes you a long way, but like when someone who doesn't know either one of you views you at a glance, they're just gonna say this is the same person.
out her
So,
side. She was
I
long
do think
involved in the
I do think they
situation with her own
should
pointers.
do a bit
After
more.
deliberation and worries about looking like the look-alike, she ultimately decided she was not comfortable with branding similarities, and they even asked around it from both sides. But the subject of changes didn't exactly go her way. Too many things overlap behind the scene for Powder to be comfortable, and to her, them going forward without changing made her feel personally disregarded. Feeling powerless and stressed from the situation,
I mean, at the
she
same
spoke
time, you can't force someone to change, but I do think Lily should have done a bit more. Like Powder can't say you have to change your avatar for me. You have to and getting new avatar designs aren't easy. Some people can only afford one, right? You can't say you have to pay thousands of dollars to change your design, blah blah blah. And even though I understand her concern, you still can't force it, right? But if I were Powder, I would have just continued on without acknowledging it, and eventually she would have fizzled out without changing, and Powder being more or less the original design, for lack of a better term, would have continued on because people would have eventually realized that, right? So that would have forced Lily to either change or fizzle out. Directly getting annoyed by it and causing a scene can actually hurt you in the long run. So sometimes it's better to not say anything even if it bothers you,
with her
right?
designer and ultimately cut conversations for her sanity. There's a bit more, but TLDR, private combos resulted in no solution, shit went public,
And everybody's wildin' now.
There were two different points I saw. On one hand, several VTubers see their designs as expressions of themselves and are protective of it. Then why go with a design that'll get you constantly compared to someone else? I'd
Yeah.
personally avoid that. On another hand,
Yeah,
no
I
one
would
can
too.
claim a color scheme or species. Yuri doesn't own blue sea creatures or hoodies. Neanders didn't originate pink cat girls.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can't copyright Black Fallen Angels or my cat break jokes I use in every single video.
Aw. Oh my
At the end
god,
of the
poor
day,
kitty.
You just keep creating and let them deal with it.
Seem to be
I
okay,
could care
though.
less to really pick a side, but when it comes to similarities, God, thank you for making me black. I automatically stand out in this space by merely existing. So that's how it should have ended,
True,
right?
based.
Oh yeah, I conveniently ignored what happened with the other Powder responses. Okay, I will always say that feelings and emotions are valid, but what actions one does will get them
Yeah.
judged by the mass regardless of them. Because to the audience, it ain't about you, it's about your
Sometimes it's no response is better than a hasty response, right? And even if you have to respond, no one's gonna criticize you or say anything if you take your time to really think about a good response on anything. The reason why, if there's anything I learned from Sunny V2, it's that once you respond, the community and the internet as a whole just wants more out of you. So it's better to just not even, better to not even acknowledge it. LMAO with poor cat, yeah. Rip kitty. I think it's gonna be okay. Cats are pretty durable, but it's definitely one of those things where you like, is it okay? Is it all right? But I think it's okay.
your
I think it's
message
gonna
is
be
what you
okay. He
do
wouldn't
with
have put
those
it in the video if it
feelings.
wasn't
And I
okay.
do get Powder's frustration here, but
How does this? Dude,
Powder.
some other tweets were made.
Yeah.
Bitterness into bitterness into bitter replies into comments that f***ed her PR into another meme. Oh my god, stop talking! Please, shut up!
Please!
Yeah. You can't let bitterness take a hold of you. Literally, it's so hard for people to do that. But as a content creator, the more you comment on it, the more you acknowledge it, the worse it gets. You know, there's a reason why the Mr. Beast and dog pack thing has been fizzling out, and that's because Mr. Beast hasn't commented on it, because he knows as soon as he comments on it, the internet's gonna fucking throw a fit. But if he doesn't say anything, the internet's gonna eventually forget about it and move on. Right? So if there's
It became
oh my
a
goodness.
hella yikes situation. People got very mad at her, and we're going to move on.
What are
Similar
these
to the
fucking
Vance
break
Shiley thing,
break
both
things?
moved on. Support whoever. Don't be rude or
Yeah.
weird to either. We talked a bit about Shy
Yeah,
Lily
exactly.
earlier. The Orca Cat Mix indie VTuber has a uniquely soft German accent. Also loves saying the phrase womp womp. She grew into her hit
Womp womp.
icon in the scene. Hell, I made a video about it a while ago. So look at her, and now look at this.
I do think I don't. Again, this is where like I think where it gets morally
Icon
gray.
in the
Hang
scene.
on.
Hell, I made a video about it a while
Let me-
ago.
let me see
So
this.
Look at her, and now look at this.
I think I do side with Shy Lily because I think Small Lola eventually. I think she did eventually admit that she did copy Shy Lily's design a bit, but again, I think this could, if she didn't say anything, I think this could have been a example of inspiration, because the color scheme isn't the same. I mean, it's definitely similar enough to where it's questionable, but I do think because the color scheme is different, there's some different things going on as far as the design goes. She could have made the claim that well, I just took heavy inspiration. If she just said, yeah, I took inspiration, I really like Shiley's design, but I'm gonna be my own thing, I think most people would have just left it at that. But instead, she's like, no, it was my design. I swear it was my design. I swear on it. And then eventually admitted that she copied her design. And I think that really left a bad taste in people's mouths.
He copied my whole flow.
Like, there's always going to be clones of the people who
And it
are at the
lasted
top, right?
over 6 months. An indie VTuber
Yeah.
by the name of Smo Lola would appear in late 2023. She would make shorts
I
and
remember
clips
this.
when on no
Dude, I remember this because, like, as soon as I joined Twitter initially, this was the controversy that was, like, happening. And I was just immediately bombarded with this
November
information.
23rd, certain comments would appear comparing her likeness to Shy Lily. Her archetype, design, phrases,
Yeah,
and most
there's
notably,
definitely
swim outfit. Smo
inspir-
Lola would
qu-
adamantly defend
a bit
herself
more than
against
just
the, quote,
inspiration.
drama Shy Lily fans had unfortunately brought to her. Push back on this later. Although you could definitely see similarities, it's not enough to dictate
Yeah.
copying or plagiarism.
I
So
agree.
Most people believed Smo Lola, gave her support from hate, and moved on. But when this first happened, two things stuck out to me. The names, Shy Lily, Smo Lola.
I mean,
But
even
you know, it
then.
wasn't my business. On December 5th, she announced getting a 2.0 to avoid the Shy Lily allegations, and I thought, hey, with the new designs, I hope shit gets better for her. Then the copying drama came up again in January.
Again.
A weird account by
That's kind of annoying, because, like, she's like, I'm gonna get something different so people stop comparing me to Shy Lily, and then she gets something that looks more like Shy Lily. It definitely seems like she did that on purpose to not only drum up controversy, which is never a good idea, but it just shows that she just didn't really care, and again, she's, like, intentionally copying it while still claiming that she didn't take any
by the
inspiration
name
from
of
it,
Emmy
and
Sakura
that's
VT
kind of
made a tweet
annoying.
calling out how
It's
Smo
definitely
Lola's
more
work in progress model
malicious.
seemed like straight up copying Shy Lily's.
Again,
This
I don't
model
think it's a
having
straight
been
up
leaked
copy,
after
but
Smo
you know, if you're gonna take inspiration, admit that you're taking inspiration. I don't think that's
Lola
that's
showed it
unreasonable.
on her then private stream. I say weird because this account, along with 2 other accounts that made negative posts against Smo Lola, don't even feel like real people.
Who's made
Yeah.
this?
All appeared in late September 2023, all based off cheap pre-made Etsy models, all
Oh.
have weird ChatGPT-like bios and introductions, and then all hella inactive until January 15th to call out the small VTuber.
Who are you people?
Similar to
It's-
last time, people sided and defended her.
She was definitely farming
She got some
controversy.
followers
That's
out of
such
it,
a
and
bad
then
way
I
to
actually
get
saw
girl.
the leaked design.
Accounts that are stealing my content and posting it in a fake duet format.
And then, this drama came up again in June. 3 times over 6 months. You
Oh
can
my
guess
goodness.
I'm getting tired of it. But this time, the script completely changed. When the same instance happens so often with one specific person, people begin to question, how does this one person end up in the same thing so often? Once, it's a chance. Twice, it's a
Intentional. It was
coincidence.
intentional.
Third
She was
time it
farming
happens,
controversy.
it gotta be on you. So people notice things they previously missed from before. Way too many similarities. The design, the tail, the ears, the outfit, the fish in the mouth, the glow-in-the-dark visual effect, the names,
Yeah.
logos, VTuber hybrid archetype.
I think she was. I think that even though it can be said that she was, it was inspiration, and if she left it at that, it'd be fine. It's very clear that it's a bit more than just inspiration. You know, the design, everything about it is just like, I'm gonna copy it, Shy Lily as much as I can, and like use the controversy surrounding it to generate views, and that's such
And
a
especially
poor
the
way to
silhouettes,
handle it.
'cause tell me at first glance you tell these two apart.
They're the same picture.
Someone even recolored the model to look like Shy Lily. And then another thought appeared. Didn't he say at first nothing was similar or inspired by Lily? That she
Yeah.
changed her design into 2.0 to be less like her? How are we still here? This time she did admit there were similarities in designs, but loved her design regardless. However, saying hers is a direct ripoff of Shy Lily's is false and frankly rude. But why would you make these design choices if you wanted to move away from the comparisons? People started to switch sides, and then allegations came out about her voice. Some people believe Smoloa faked her voice in the present to sound more like Shy Lily, who's
See, this one I would believe that she did change her voice to fit Shy Lily's accent. Like I said, you can't copy or copyright claim or own an accent. But I do remember there were videos of her sounding completely different than different before she got this design. So I do think that she did, and I do think you can make the claim that she was intentionally copying Shy Lily as far as the accent goes to be a clone.
whose German accent is actually pretty damn uncommon.
You guys are stuck. I can't get you guys to move.
I heard you like VTubers.
Yeah, see?
And if you haven't noticed yet, I happen to be one.
I do think that she actively went out of her way to do that. Just trying to bandwagon completely. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it worked. I mean, we're sitting here talking about her, right? And it starts off. I mean, technically, we're talking about her, but it's not in a positive way. And that's the problem with people who use controversy to try to grow. Yeah, you get a short-term boost of views, but then you have to escalate it, which is yeah, it's a very forced accent, but it's very clear she's trying to copy it. You get a short burst of views, but then but once those views start to dwindle, you have to escalate it, right? And which definitely seems like what she did. You know, her original design was like, oh, she's copying Shy Lily, blah blah blah. Once it goes down, she decided to copy her even more to try to bring up the views again, and that's not a sustainable way to maintain viewership, right? So I think it's a very poor choice on her part to force viewership in like this, because it's not going to last. And if she needs to last, she's going to have to become a clout goblin like Jack Dorky or Neon, who also do the same thing. They have to constantly escalate the circumstances of their videos and content, because people will eventually stop watching them if they don't. And that just creates more and more brain rot cringe.
I kind of hear a soft accent in their original, so I can believe.
I mean,
that's her
it's a
real
soft.
voice. The constant other stuff.
Yeah, soft accent, but it's not the same. It's not nearly as close as it would be to Shy Lily. Like, she definitely has an accent. I'm not saying that, but it's not the same accent as Shy Lily, whereas the new accent she has is definitely made to sound exactly like Shy Lily's. Like, she has an accent. She changed it to sound like Shy Lily.
Didn't help her case though. The internet saw the overabundance of similarities.
And even then, maybe she was actively trying to force her accent to sound like it at the time. So even if it was her real accent, or it may not have even been her real accent, is what I'm trying to say, because she could have been just starting to force it then and practice the Shy Lily accent to then develop into it more later on.
The
could have
sheer
been
amount of
put
coping
long
and the
game.
inconsistency of statements and potential lies, and it became a fucking shitstorm. Memes upon memes and public callouts about copying and plagiarism.
Yeah.
Even her OG artist came in like, yeah, there's a good chance he wants to be Shy Lily. Some artists made free designs to maybe help
That-
her out. She was either
bro.
interviewed by
Never give a VTuber free design. Like, I'm just telling you now, as an artist, make sure you get paid for your work.
VTuber Alara to give her side, and somehow the interview made her look worse.
Yeah.
But there was one thought in my head. I was aware of this dilemma
Just
from
don't-
the
just don't
beginning, but
acknowledge
majority
the
of time, I was
criticism, it goes
wondering how
away.
Shy Lily felt experiencing all this. Because imagine you, Lily. Over 6 months, you wake up seeing everyone wilding, and now your name getting thrown around.
Yeah.
And eventually, Shy Lily made a response to the months-long drama.
I might just say it the way it is. I have nothing to say. Leave
Yep.
me be. I'm at a size where no matter what I say, it's wrong. If I express any amount of uncomfortableness, for the lack of a better word, I'm the big bad wolf. If I pretend like it's not a big deal and don't care, I set a new standard that is encouraging people to do the same, and it's kind of
Based.
disrespecting a lot of artists because it's basically like, you know what? All the work, skill, and effort artists put out there, just f***ing steal it. Who gives a shit? It'd be nice.
I don't agree with that. I think not saying anything is probably the best thing you could do in this circumstance. Again, you say something negative, it just drags your name through the mud. And I understand like where she's like, oh, you don't want you don't want to disrespect the artist, but it's not about that. It's about a content creator copying another content creator and using that content creator to drum up controversy in order to drum up views, right? At that point, it's probably better not to even give them the time of day because that's what they're looking for.
If people stop putting words in my mouth, I'm staying out of it for a reason.
That said, I do think she did a very good job at answering this.
And I know my chat is not involved in it either. So if people could stop pretending like I've made any public opinions about whatever, or that my chat is doing anything
Yeah.
to whomever, both of those are untrue. And I can prove it. That's all I wanted to say. I'm tired of that stuff being brought up. I don't like drama. Everyone
Good.
who respects me knows that. So, yeah.
People
I think that's
consider
a good
this one of
response.
the best responses to a drama like
Again, she shouldn't have responded, but if you have to respond, that was a good way to put it. Just stay out of it. Nothing you say will ever be enough for people, whether or not you're right or wrong. And it's just better to just not even
this.
acknowledge
And I
it.
definitely agree with the point around Shy Lily fans, because Shy Lily fans spreading hate and sparking drama? Do you know Shy Lily fans? They are way more concerned with looking up porn of their Oshi than spreading hate around her. But where did that leave Smolola? Smolola
Fucking
would make a final
gooners.
response, ultimately stating she could have handled a lot of things more maturely. By her words, she never intended to hurt people or start drama, but she emphasized that she was not a victim. Hate sucks and she wanted to vent, but she could have avoided the situation. She further states that her voice is not fake, as she previously spoke with low energy. She didn't expect a bunch of artists to give free designs.
Again,
when
I
she
don't
asked for
know
advice,
about
and
that.
It was never her intent to engagement bait or drama farm. However, on the topic of plagiarism, she admits she took too much inspiration and apologizes to Shy Lily and her other
Gooner
artists.
chat, yeah.
stating
This is a Christian chat. There is no gooning in this one. All must sustain from goonership. That is the number one rule of my chat.
has plans for a
We
new
we don't
redesign.
goon here.
She first thought of graduating and leaving,
I'm kidding, of course, but
then decided she would
be productive.
then go on an indefinite hiatus, and now she's back on Twitter under a new Abby and her account locked, and I'll respect that privacy. I see
Yeah.
Smolola's case like countless inspiring content creators out there. They
See,
want
it
to do
didn't
what
end up well
works and
for her.
look up
It
to the
was-
top performers.
She tried to play. It sounded like she tried to play the controversy game, and it backfired on her. She played it too hard, and it ended up hurting her
But
in the
end
long
up
run.
imitating aspects of them too much, getting lost in the sauce, and caught for inconsistency, where whether they believe so or not, the mass will see them as the copycat. Ultimately, come to your own conclusion, but don't be bullying or harassing.
Yeah.
That shit's lame as fuck.
No
A
bullies.
VTuber by the name of Ume Kaitu
I
popped
remember
into the
this one.
scene showing off his model and announcing his debut for the summer of
I don't
2020.
think I saw this one live, but I remember someone mentioning this one. I think they literally just found an image on the internet and said, "I want this," and copied it word for line for line, not word for word, but line for line. And I do think this is a case of plagiarism, 100%.
It looks kind of clean, right? Well,
It does
I
look cute.
told you, this VTuber design was never his own.
Yeah.
You is in trouble.
If you're not gonna design it yourself, pay someone for the design. That's what it boils down to. Like,
A VTuber
there's
by
nothing
the
you
name
can
of
do.
Sheet VT made a call-out post showing that his VTuber directly plagiarized a design by artist Ube-san.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Same hair color, same hairstyle, same scarf, same eyes, same flower assets, even the
Yeah.
horns.
I mean, technically,
That's that. I think that is plagiarism.
I'm me. You're okay. Yeah.
That's not inspiration. Again, like even the color schemes are almost identical, and it has the same, little head pieces. It's definitely something got traced along the way.
No direct mention or credit to the original person or design, it paints a bad picture.
Yeah.
Ube-san, the original artist, would come out and say that Ume asked him to use the original artist. Ube-san said,
No.
but yet after seeing Ume Kaito use the design regardless, Ube-san asked to just change the floral and gold decorations. As you see, he didn't. Ume Kaito would make a swiftly response to the accusations.
It seems like the artist was trying to work with him. It's like, if Old Day said, like, okay, if you're not going to respect me, at least change the floral decorations, and you just didn't, you're just being an asshole at that point. Complete rip-off, might as well just have traced it. Exactly. This is definitely a malicious actor.
Saying that he, quote, never
I don't think it's black and white at all. Or I don't think it's morally gray at all. It's definitely black and white, is what I mean to say.
But ultimately wanted no one harassed and taking responsibility. But later, even more would be exposed. Even at the request, he kept using the original artist's design. And after this, other artists came out with their own personal experiences with Ume not being the greatest customer, actively going against terms of service or standards to demand changes to keep it his way. After all that, bro, had to deactivate. But it gets even worse. You have to factor in that somebody else, an entire separate studio, was the one who created this VTuber model. Do you think they knew about all this?
No.
They had their own experience.
Uh-oh.
They write for transparency and accountability.
I will say that if you're using a studio, it's up to the studio to cross-reference designs like that and make sure they're not accidentally recreating something that already exists like that.
Surrounding what was going on, especially behind the scenes. According to them, Ume had claimed the artwork as his OC or original character. And with the artist doing a Google search and finding no results, they didn't really suspect stealing. So they, move forward. But the situation didn't end there. Persistent disrespect and mistreatment that the artist experienced from Ume compelled them to speak out. Here's what they say. Quote, he frequently breached terms of service by insisting on minutely detailed and stringent revisions under the guise of perfectionism. He'd continued to demand overly meticulous adjustments, emphasizing his critical nature toward artistic work. Moreover, his specific request for us to follow exactly the head, hairstyle, and headpiece were clean indications of his intent to base his model on the OG.
Yeah, I think that's a very clear case of, like, not only plagiarism, but also, like, if you're hiring, so I kind of get if you hire an artist, you do want a specific thing, but there's going to be some stylistic differences. Like, you can't constantly, like, belittle them over it, but this is clearly, like, I want this exact design that's not mine, and I don't know what they were thinking. Like, there was no way they could have gotten away with this, right? This person just seems like a miserable cunt, and I'm glad they were ousted for it.
And like, when you scroll
I'm glad they were ousted early enough to where they couldn't really develop a fan base.
These DMs and specific
So nobody
messages,
wasted their
I'm
time
like,
with them.
What? This guy was obsessed with that design.
Shit,
Yeah.
you already know I'm obsessed with it.
Like, I get he's kind of nice, but you gotta let it go. With all
That's a level of autism that I hope I never
this
cross.
controversy going on, DG's studio regrets the creation
Total
of
moron,
the
yeah.
model, offers sincere
Absolutely.
apologies, and would move forward to commit to verifying the origins of all references.
As a studio, they should have done that. There are tools that studios like this can have access to double check references and shit. It was on them to do that, and hopefully they do learn from it and improve on in the future for sure.
A lot of things were being said about this guy. None of them good. And then he faded away from the internet. A
Good.
distant memory, never to be seen again. Yeah, plot twist, a document dropped 3 months
Oh
later.
my
Kari
god.
Kaito would put out a doc as an apology and explanation. In October 2023, Ume found Yube's design on Pinterest, fell in love with it, and wanted something very similar with minor changes when getting into VTubing.
There was
However,
no
his
changes
ultimate
though.
stubbornness and wrong beliefs around owning the design, co-opting hairstyles and accessories, falsely claiming he obtained permission to use the OC as a reference, stressing exact perfection on the look, and incessant changes directed at artists breaking TOS would be his downfall. He states that he never intended to upset the people working on the model, was always willing to pay extra if necessary, but after reading experiences from the artists and people involved,
I mean, if you like a design by the artist so much, you could ask them to, you could pay them to draw you a new design that's has a similar feel to it. Like saying, "Hey, I really like your artwork. This one in particular. Can you make me an OC that I could use? I'll pay you for it." Like as long as you're willing to pay with the pay the artist and give them credit. Most artists are willing to do that, especially if it means making a little extra cash. I feel like, and I know some people, like, I know it's not easy saying, like, I can't afford art, but, like, you could save up money for it. Save up money for it and just kind of slowly work towards it. People are so impatient and, like, I want to do this now, that they end up doing shit like this, and then they come off as complete douchebags.
he feels genuinely sorry about his actions. There are other things he
I
mentions,
don't know
like
how
difficulties
sorry
with
he
verbal
is, actually.
expression, dyslexia, not being a native speaker, deleting his account due to the
Lot of
large hate,
excuses.
attacks, and threats he received, and feeling like a terrible person to
You
the
should
point
be.
of attempting on his life.
Well,
After
you shouldn't.
taking time to rebuild himself.
Let me rephrase that. You shouldn't do that. You should feel bad. You should not take your life. I spoke a little too soon on that. Do not hurt yourself. We do. And you only get one of them. Don't waste it. Life's too short to shorten it up sooner. But you should feel bad. They should feel bad.
Situation, he will return and take accountability and apologize to everyone. Yube-san, DJ Studios, the artists, everyone. He also addresses other accusations.
I mean, if he
a tracing
apologizes, I'll be
accusation
good,
for
but I
Wildcard that
don't
was
think it'll be
confirmed
good
false, and his experiences
in
with
the long term.
Nadamito and Akira VR, where he admits to requesting several different minor changes. He believed everything was fine and kind of wished they'd tell him DMs if the requests were disrespectful, but he ultimately apologizes for hurting them. And that's the gist. So here's my thing. Remember how I said VTubing cares a lot about artistic principles and beliefs? You know what's a very big artistic principle? Don't plagiarize.
Yeah.
I'll take that. It's mine now.
And that is the clearest case I have ever seen for
Yeah,
VTuber
I think
plagiarism.
that
This
was
is
a
not
very,
arguing
very
against the
blatant
other
case.
behaviors, disrespecting artists, the lies. Regardless, you're just gonna have to hold that. But I'm glad he's, alive and doing better. Shit like this is heavy, and no matter one's actions or reputation, no one should feel to go down that route. And as always, harassing and death threats are fucking unnecessary.
But, and then this is just me being cynical, like, how real is it that he actually, like, it could, I already feel like shit for saying this, but it sounds like he already has no problem with stealing other people's designs. How true is the story that he wanted to take his life, or is he just baiting people into thinking that he was, like, just sympathy fading? I mean, I don't want to be that person, but part of me doesn't really believe him. If that's the case, it sounds really shitty.
Though,
I should
however
just
he
shut
does
up.
with returning to streaming,
I'll just shut
best
up.
of luck. But that's enough punching down on
He's
small
not going to
because
return to
it
streaming.
personally
He'll have to
feels a bit
completely
better to punch up on those
revamp his
bigger.
identity.
Speaking of bigger, if you're a VTuber fan, you've definitely heard of the name Fillion, previously a VR chat streamer turned.
I fucking hate Fillion. Her voice is so annoying. I know my voice is monotone and nasally, but hers is... I can't stand Fillion at all.
VTuber who blew up in popularity to her YouTube shorts, effectively becoming the 4th most popular VTuber in the world.
Impressive,
but most notably, a lot of merch. Signed posters, shirts and hoodies, YouTubes, cups, figurines, and plushies. Even got her VTuber skin featured in the racing game. Hi, this is Fillion's manager. If you want to make merch of her for conventions, go for it. My manager is me. That should put into perspective
That's not good, though.
big
I know where they're
Fillion
going
is.
with this.
So let me tell you how big of a revelation it was to hear that she never owned the copyright to her design and model. She allegedly never paid money for the model.
Yeah.
And one merch event would expose a large tirade of negligence that could have ended.
This really... I think this was really shitty of her. She is so big and makes so much money, she could have outright bought the design for it. She could have contacted the the artist and said, "Hey, I'm using your design." She doesn't even have to. Like I said, she didn't even have to like completely redo the design. She could have just bought the rights to it. She has the money to do it. She just didn't because she didn't care. And I think that mentality is very gross. If you're gonna use artwork, give credit and pay the artists. I think that is the absolute bare minimum to do. Even if the artwork is free technically online, like it's a free model, free asset, you need to give credit and you need to pay when you start monetizing to that at the very least that extent, right?
Far worse for her, because she basically got caught stealing.
Yeah, I would say that's absolutely 100%
Enter two
stealing.
parties. Party 1, Good Smile Company. Good Smile is a Japanese manufacturer company that focuses on hobby products like sets, acrylics, and figures. Most notably,
again, I'm also going to say it's a bit on the company to verify this information. It does fall on the company. I mean, I understand that they took her word for it because she's a huge content creator, but but I also don't think it was a secret that she was using a free model. And it's on the company to know this stuff before they start producing products like this.
though, Nendoroid. And if you remember my VTuber merch video and how I feel about Nendoroid, look at this! She's so adorable! They're pretty damn good. And on July 4th, they would announce a Fillion Nendoroid. This was expectedly a huge deal.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Fillion states, quote retweeting the post. Before, uh-oh, we never got permission from the original Martyr artist for shit like this. Enter
fucking
Party 2,
noted,
Jingo.
bitch!
Jingo is a Japanese VR chat artist that sells pre-made models at an affordable price. A good parallel being those pre-made models aspiring VTubers may buy from Etsy. They also sell a pay-to-use model of their original character, Rindo, for 7,000 yen.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
put
straight up
the
the
two models
character.
together and look at that. A toothpick really changes everything. Fillion's model isn't even Fillion's, but rather a recolored version of Jingo's model. An artist on Twitter posted a meme converting Rindo into Fillion's current design in just over 3 minutes.
Bro.
And if you want to know how
That's funny. The Fillion kid.
easy it is to make this 3D design into Fillion, it is just that easy. And
Dude,
there's no
that's
world where it's
really
enough to claim
funny.
as your own,
Unironically, that's super funny.
or worse, sell merch.
Hey, y'all, come look
Yeah.
at this.
Copyright
This was very
2024
shitty of
Fillion.
Fillion.
Detective determined that was a lie.
Jingo would have a bit to say regarding this Fillion and Good Smile deal. Quote, this morning I received many messages about the announcement posted by Good Smile Company.
Poor
about the production
Fillion.
of
What do
the
you
Nen-
mean, poor Fillion? Poor fucking artist, man. I don't feel bad for Fillion. This is theft. I think this is. I would even say that this is worse than the last one because the last one was just really shitty. But Fillion is so fucking wealthy. She's one of the top VTubers. Like, hang on. Let's take a look at that real quick. Let's take a gander real quick. Let's see how many subscribers Fillion has, right? She has almost 3 million subscribers. Her videos get millions of views. You know, the newest one 9 hours ago already has 51,000 views on it, right? You go to her most popular, 2.5 million. Hey, Late Temper, how are you doing? I'm just bitching about how Fillion is a shitty person for stealing. Like, Fillion 100% could have worked something out with the original artist to buy the character. But she didn't, because she didn't care. I'm just showing up fashionably late. It's okay to be fashionably late. We're just currently, we're almost done with this one, and we have a few more videos to go through, but we're talking about plagiarism and copying in the VTuber industry, and right now they're on the part where it comes out that Fillion never paid for her model. Which, again, was like an open secret, but it is on Fillion to do the right thing, and she didn't.
Nendoroid based on a VTuber who used
I
my
hope you're
Rindo
doing well.
model as a base for their
Hope you're doing
avatar.
well. Thank you for
Since
popping
I found
in.
out when I was still traveling, it took me a while to figure out what was going on. I did not receive any prior communication from Good Smile Company nor the VTuber in question about the production
At the
of this
very
Nendoroid
either
figure. From my point
if you don't outright buy it, then set up something to where the artist can get a portion of the profits, even if it's a small percentage portion. At that, at that level, she would still make more than enough to justify allowing Fillion to continue using the model.
Of view, the fact that there was an announcement of plans to professionally produce a figure based on my character, even though I have yet to hear about this, is very puzzling. I am currently in the process of communicating with Good Smile Company and the VTuber in question, and am awaiting a response. Since this situation involves companies, not just individual people, it will take a bit of time for everything to be resolved. I hope you all can understand this. Please wait for the outcome.
I think that's a good response. I think that's a good,
was a big issue
good
for Fillion. First,
note.
in Jingo's terms of service, after the purchase of the model, they permit it for personal use and even video and live streaming use. However, when it comes to tangible goods like merch, you gotta
always read the artists. Some artists don't mind if you use it stuff. If you use it for merch and stuff, but you should always double check with the artist, and at the very least give credit and everything. I'm doing all right. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, we're just watching some YouTube videos. Pretty easy stream.
Tell shit never happened.
This is a content creator I really like. Taledo.'s very good. They do a lot of really good research and do a lot of interesting stuff about the VTuber community. If you want to know more about VTuber drama, you know, I think they're a really good channel to watch.
The only party that Fillion had
They don't only talk about drama, but they're still pretty good. I think they make really good videos.
That she used early in her career. She even featured it in racing games and plushie merch. Turns out this was a refurbished model from another Japanese VR chat artist by the name of Kamado, and they heard about the situation in relation to past merch and relate that they never gave Fillion permission around those items. And if you thought it couldn't get worse, people found some other clips.
You are so beautiful. I'm so glad that you like this model that I paid $0 for and I'm using for free.
She just straight up amounted.
Gifted it to her?
She just
What
admitted
if
to
I
it.
took my VR chat model and I started face tracking with it. So what I did was I went and ripped the model from VR chat illegally. I uploaded it into some software that I downloaded off the internet.
That was really bad.
So you can imagine why this was a fucking business nightmare. Fillion had sold thousands.
I know she's trying to be funny, but that's not that, you know, comedy doesn't translate to court documents if it ever went to court. Just saying.
Thousands of dollars worth of merch off models she knew were someone else's, and she went against TOS and never reached out about this. All of this plus the ripping of shit that's just seen as disrespecting artists. Second, copyright infringement. That is a crime, especially in commercial merchandising situations. We are now in legal territory. Do you understand?
I guess it is. I guess it would be a civil matter. I guess it'd be a civil matter, but I don't know if you'd go to jail over it. Although you might go to jail in Japan.
You avoid that altogether. Good Smile saw the giant controversy underway and deleted the announcement right afterwards.
Good.
Indeed, my nigga. This is a bad situation.
I'm glad they took responsibility for that. Again, they should have verified with it. Unable to connect to chat. See, my chat's disconnected again. Hang on. Yeah, legit artists out of thousands of dollars now. Yeah, exactly. All right, hang on. I have to hang on. I have to I don't know how to redo my chat. I'm gonna do this. There we go. Okay. Chat's reconnected. I don't know what's going on with that. I may have to like update something. But we're still good. Yeah, absolutely out of thousands of dollars. That's such a horrible thing for a content creator, because at that point you're just basically stealing from them. You're taking money right out of their pocket.
Of the VTuber Neurosama, Vidal987's AI VTuber that blew up in 2023.
I like Neurosama.
Wacky and engaging responses with the stream. At first, Neurosama's model was Momose Hiyori, a default model in VTube Studio. But once business became a foresight, Vidal commissioned VTuber Annie for a transformative redesign.
That's perfect, right? They did the right thing. They if they couldn't buy it, they did a redesign that's very similar to it, but it's not an exact copy.
This helped breathe new light in Neurosama and gave her own base avatar while effectively avoiding potential legal liabilities regarding commercial and merchandising operations. But that's the
Fillion could have 100% done that if not outright bought the model.
World to let a massive screw up like this
She just
happen is
chose
just
not to.
Not good. Like, as a brand, there's no excuse you can make for this. You gotta commission your own shit at this point, and you've had years to work this dilemma out. As a result, thousands upon thousands has been gained off of something you don't own. Did Jingo know about the other merch items before this? Her clips claiming she ripped the model? It gets very bad. Billion would make a short response about the situation on her stream.
So real quick, chat. What is it real quick? So I've been talking to the artist behind the scenes. I don't know if you guys saw her tweet like yesterday, but we're gonna get on proceeding in a way that like protects her rights and it's compliant with the EUA, the EUA. So I'll let you know when there's an update. But with that being said, chat.
And Ringo, after
I mean,
all private conversations.
If she actually talked to him, I would appreciate that, but it shouldn't have happened to begin with. This isn't a this is a case where, like, at best it's complete negligence on Fillion's part, and at worst it's just outright malicious behavior. And based on the comments she made, it seems like it's
No
malicious.
say on supposedly proceeding. With Jingo's rights, they permit anyone using the model for anything, including indie VTuber activities. However, just because they purchase a booth model doesn't mean they own it. You're effectively renting it. Moreover, any usage of her model in a highly profitable or commercial sense, like production of goods, requires notification in advance, and if one isn't an indie VTuber or from an agency, they have to reach out about the model's usage. Most notably, quote, the part of this that I took issue with was that even though the VTuber did not own the copyright to the character, they proceeded with the project and formed a contract with the company without notifying the original creator of the character in question. As follows, I have requested that the production schedule for this character merchandising product be stopped altogether. I am not after any royalties or other financial incentives. I simply wish to protect the copyright.
It's your art, if they didn't pay for the rights to use that art in your art in that way, I think you should seek financial compensation. She could, at the very least, get something out of it. But
My characters. To allow this,
Fillion has made potentially millions off of your model. You should get something back.
Such as through the sale of copyright licenses, would mean that every character derived from my model would have its own copyright. And as a result, those who use the same models as bases may become in some fucking copyright dispute.
I mean, you can... I disagree with that. I understand that it's a bit more complex than what I'm saying, but I think Fillion could have, at the very least, bought legal standing to use her version of the model, right? Because she did change it, but it's still just straight up stealing. She just changed the colors on it. It doesn't count, but she could have bought that version of it. And moreover, she could have even just commissioned this artist to create something similar for her, right? Because again, she has the money for it. So I know she's trying to like give Fillion the benefit of the doubt and like trying to work with her on it, but I think there is a way where you can say the artist gets paid.
They end off reiterating that their booth models are for everyone, not just one person.
That's really nice of them.
As the design is
But
not completely one's own, no matter.
But you could have Fillion could have worked with. I don't know.
How many
Maybe it's a philosophy
the
difference.
Copyright is non-negotiable because traces of the original author will still remain. So given the entire situation, that's why I said at the beginning, shit could have gone a lot worse for Fillion because there's now money involved. Afterwards, the Fillion Good Smile project was effectively suspended. Fillion Co., her merch website that she had announced in the past, is completely empty now with further merch plans being unknown. Remember that manager tweet she made? Yeah, that's gone too. And I can't really find any further statements or apologies regarding the matter. She
should just get a new model at this point. I know her current model I think is iconic in her community, but just get a new model. You could afford it.
An honest mistake, or
if you want merchandise opportunities, just contact her.
Negligence
or just get a new model. I don't know what to tell you.
That shit's on her. Plus, there's that other artist. I didn't see a further response from them. Of course, don't harass, attack, or be dicks to anybody here. But another question: will Fillion be getting a new model? If she wants to do merch again, she has to. But hey, if you can joke about breaking that much VR equipment, you definitely got the money to get your own model and not.
Yeah, exactly. She like break VR equipment like every couple of months and spend thousands of dollars. She could spend a couple $1,000s on a new model. That just justifies what I'm saying.
Have you ever heard this phrase before when it comes to art? Nothing is original anymore.
Yeah.
Let me explain. Due to human history dating back for a damn long time, unless it's a completely new invention, someone somewhere on this planet we call Earth has sparked a product, service, or idea, because everything is built on pre-existing resources from before. Therefore, nothing is original. But as American writer Austin Kleon explains, all creative work builds on what came before.
Billion is dumb AF and breaks shit all the time, yeah. Apparently she also broke copyright laws, so she really does break everything. She almost burned her place down while back and almost fucked up her car too. What the fuck? At some point you gotta be doing it on purpose, right? Is she doing it on purpose for clout at that point? She's gotta be. I bet she's farming clips. You know, it might have happened like it might have happened once or twice in general, but at some point it's definitely more of a like this is someone doing it on purpose for sure.
The idea is just a remix of two previous ideas. Hell, he even made a book titled How to Steal Like an Artist because that's what artists do.
Yeah.
They take things but emulate it in their own personal style. What makes something original is by making your own new and curious combinations. Let's make it very
Exactly.
clear. The VTubing industry is oversaturated as all.
I hope not. I wouldn't think someone would almost burn down their shit for views. Dude, you have no idea what people will do for views. People will do anything for views if they think they could get away with it. Right? Anything. I mean, like, fuck, what about that streamer who, hang on. Streamer, I'll show you exactly what some people will do for views. Streamer, God, it would help if I could spell. Streamer who set room on fire. Let me show you exactly what some people will do for fucking views. So, everything's going fine. He's fucking fiddling with matches. He sets his fucking room on fire. Within a few minutes, the whole place is up in flames. Now, I think he claims this was an accident, but like if you watch the video, he's just like fucking with matches and shit. Was there a guy who put forks in his toaster? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, you have Jack Dorkey crashing his fucking McLaren. Of course, that was on accident, but he definitely like milked it for views. So even if it's something is an accident, people will do pretty much anything for views and take any opportunity they can for views. So if Billion got a boost in views on some content she made about of her fucking up and it worked really well for her, I wouldn't put it past someone like that to try to recreate it, you know. Not that you should. That's really dangerous, but you know, don't ever discount what people will do for views.
Hell, there are hundreds of talented creators
Just
who may
for
have
clicks
a similar
and clout.
attribute to someone who came before or is more popular.
Clicks and clout is probably one of the biggest addictions on the of our time, for
I'm
sure.
not really a fan of no names putting down others' creative work for simply being a similar identity, coincidence, or having inspiration. But there's a clear difference between inspiration and straight up stealing shit. Some may say imitation
I
is
agree.
the sincerest form of flattery, but sometimes it's the sincerest way of getting caught in 4K.
How did they get you in 4K?
That's on you. Ultimately, if you want to become a creator at all, don't let any of this discourage you. Take the knowledge from before in stride, learn from references, and be the best creator you can be.
True.
Just have a bit of authenticity. But hey, I seem to really love
True and
copying
based.
my Oshi Kori X Kenshin.
What the hell are you talking about?
Making a video and then disappearing for months.
He copied my whole flow.
That was a really good video. I like that. I think here, this is again, it's Toledo. Toledo's very, very good. I agree. You can't claim everything's copied because there is no originality, but when there is copying, you have to call it out for sure. Absolutely. It's the least you could do. I like that video. I like that one. That was very good. I gotta go use the restroom real quick. I gotta use the restroom really, really badly. Hang on. We're gonna turn that down real quick. I gotta use the restroom really badly. I'm going to, I'll be right back. Hang on. Let me do this. Using bathroom BRB. Ooh woo. Not wow. Ooh woo. There you go. I've been drinking a lot of water talk sitting here. Oh yeah, gotta police people because people steal crazy. Yeah, but at the same time, you have to police yourself to not completely make a fool of yourself and like jump to conclusions, right? You know, I think it's very. I think we can. There are plenty of cases where people like accuse people, but there's nothing really going on or even malicious. It just seems like everybody has knee-jerk reactions without properly thinking, and that's not okay. I'll be right back. Gotta use the restroom. All right, I'm already back. Let me sit down. Okay. So the next one we're doing. Let me get in here. There we go. Next one we're doing is called. This one's by Ghost Gum. Another really good content creator I like. I wish Ghost Gum would make more videos more often, because they're all really good stuff. This is about the toxic world of Reddit gaming. It's a bit older. It's about 4 months old, but everything he does is really good, and I really like his content. It's not as long as the other one, but it should still be good for conversation. We're gonna just go ahead and get like right into it. This is Toxic World of Reddit Gaming. I already feel like I'm developing cancer just by saying that.
Redditor and gamer. These are the two most embarrassing things one can self-identify as. Now,
True.
what if you identified as both of these things at once and mashed them together? Well, you get one of the most toxic combinations possible that can actually lead to several different roads, all of which we will cover in this video. So let's talk about gamers. Now, imagine somebody calling you stupid, sending you death threats, telling you that you're a horrible human being.
That's just the average gamer experience, my friends. If you haven't gotten a couple death threats, are you really a gamer?
Based off of.
If you haven't sent a couple death threats, I'm kidding. Don't send death threats.
Something you did. For somebody to get that angry,
don't be
done
sending death threats. I'm kidding.
Really horrible. And you'd be right, because these three things happen consistently when people disagree on video games. There are political debates that are less toxic than your average gaming debate. And for some reason, both gamers and Redditors are incapable of comprehending that it's okay to disagree with someone. But before we get right into it, I want to tell you about Opera GX. Opera GX is a browser that's going to get you to break up with your vanilla missionary.
No. We're gonna skip this. Nice try. We're not gonna buy into that. If you want Opera GX, you can go to the video and download it from Ghost Gum, but we're not gonna watch the advertisement. Have you ever been called something racist? Are you even a gamer? True. Like I said, it's the gamer experience. It's like when you when in Rome, when you're gaming, you have to. It's not really a game unless someone is horribly terrible to you.
In this space, the only acceptable reaction.
Dude, I remember that fight. That was a fucking fun fight.
To somebody having a differing opinion than you is one.
Boogie deserved to get his ass mollywhopped. Fucking
they must
absolutely
be
deserved
stupid,
it.
or two, they must be a bad person.
Yeah.
This naturally leads to insanely toxic trends that are seemingly getting more and more out of control. So I present you Reddit gamers. So let's start with the limp-wristed, most boring gaming subreddit first, r/gaming. Now, to understand r/gaming, you kind of have to understand early 2010s meme culture. Does anybody remember these awful, awful memes that have aged terribly? These
Fucking based, fucking troll faces and fucking clingy girl, dude. What a blast from the
were
past.
unironic at the time. I know it's crazy to think they look ironic, but they're not. They look like they were posted by a nerd in over 30.
Samsung's like, we designed our phones to be able to go through and withstand a wide variety of environments and circumstances.
That guy.
Or no key.
That guy. Dude, the fucking gap on this guy's teeth. Can you guys see that? You could fit a family of 4 through it.
Is all like, bitch, we designed
I
our
miss all
phone
these
to be
memes, dude. All these memes, dude. Those memes were lit. And that was classic. Rage comics were fucking were a classic back in the day. They were so awesome.
Point blank, sun going supernova. Get good, scrub.
But these were memes that people laughed at. Unfortunately, r/gaming is still to this day stuck in a time loop where they cannot leave the year 2013. This could also be due to the size of the Reddit and not wanting things to change. I mean, if you don't include r/announcements, then gaming is the 3rd largest subreddit on the entire website. It's crazy how massive a market gaming is, and our gaming reflects that.
I mean, in all fairness, like when you say gaming, that's so generic. It's not specific. That can encompass a lot of different things, and I'm not surprised there's a lot of people that follow that. But it is kind of silly that like you're still producing, you know, memes like this. Like this is very actually or uwu era. Uwu or RXD era.
Not wanting things to change. I mean, if you don't include r/announcements,
something you would see off of Tumblr in 2012.
Then
it's probably
gaming is
what
the
I'm trying to
3rd
say.
largest subreddit on the entire website. It's crazy how massive a market gaming is, and our gaming reflects that. Over 40
Video games itself is a larger industry than the music and movie industry worldwide by a lot. I believe that. It's such a massive media. And you know, like again, not to sound too old, but you know, back in the day, you know, when people were just starting to like accept games as like a normal part of society, you know, it was still even back then insanely popular. I think after like the 80s and 90s, like it just fucking skyrocketed, and rightfully so. It's such a good medium for winding down. It's basically like an interactive movie. You can't go wrong with it. It's an insane technology that like everybody has access to now, and everybody games. Like even my dad plays mobile games. Like, right? He'll play like fucking solitaire on his phone. And like that's a form of like video games, and it's like it's just so encompassing. It's hard to believe how far it's come over the past 20, 30 years.
Sub to this, meaning r/gaming has a higher population than all of these countries. So you'd assume with all these people that there must be some
that moment when you could get r/gaming to take over Canada.
extremely high quality posts, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
No. God, no. Most of the stuff posted here is just the same thing over and over again to farm glorious Reddit karma. Did you know that Ubisoft is a bad company? Or maybe Blizzard is also a bad company? And EA is, wait for it, a bad company?
Oh,
it's
no.
It's basically the most generic gaming opinions you could possibly have. Hot take, guys, but I think Dark Souls is actually better than the new Call of Duty game. And AAA game bad.
It seems like it's just a place for people to give watered down generic opinions that most people agree with for a small dopamine increase. And I think that's what he's trying to like get at. But this is just like I think this is proof that nobody on Reddit actually has any real opinions for themselves.
Good. All of this sprinkled in with remember when gaming was actually good posts. Have you guys heard of a LAN party? These guys also have a hard-on for the 90s for some reason. I mean, look how many posts.
Dude, LAN parties were a bitch. Nobody misses LAN parties. Fucking have to bring your PC over to another motherfucker's house and then drag it all the way back. Fuck no. Fuck no, I ain't doing no fucking LAN party bullshit. Oh, but remember the LAN party? Remember when you had to bring your PC and hook it up and hook up to the no, fuck off. We're not doing LAN parties again. People are just it's just nostalgia glasses. There's nothing good about it. Reddit is cringe. It gives me severe psychic damage every time I go there. Yeah, fucking same. LAN parties were fun in the computer labs. Well, I mean, that's because the computers were already set up. They're talking about people who brought their computers over to another guy's house. That's what they're fucking reminiscing about. They're not talking about you know, your school's computer lab or even like a computer cafe shit. Like that's awesome, right? The Xbox System Connect was cool. I liked them. I mean, like I mean, it's not bad. I'm just saying, like, I you know what? I can't even comment on that. I don't think I never owned an Xbox, so I can't even. I don't know how good they are, but I think a lot of people liked them. Like that was the motion one, right? I don't know. We'll
are
keep
just
going.
old photos of people playing games. And all the memes they post have almost a corporate feel to them in a weird way. They all feel so sanitized and bizarre. Like, who is making these and who is upvoting them?
Yeah.
I really don't understand the point of r/gaming. It's so...
What makes an interesting progression system? I'm playing through Rogue Trader, and most of the perks you choose are when leveling up are just minor enhancements to the maths of combat. In order to figure out what I want and how to use them, I'm expected to do a lot of mental math, and a few of these perks change how I play the game. This is in contrast to games like Dishonored and Arkham Asylum, where upgrades you get to unlock new powers or so significantly alter your stats that unfeasible tactics become feasible. In Baldur's Gate 2, I always play a wizard because there's something new and interesting with every level up, and it's not just a boring attack upgrade. So you don't want to think about your decisions. Is what I'm hearing. You want the developers to do everything for you, so you don't have to actually use a couple brain cells to figure out how to enhance your character. Personally, I like it when it's like little bits of when you don't get too much of an increase, but you get enough to where it's like it's a noticeable difference. You actually have to think about your choices. It doesn't. You know what? My mistake is I'm trying to analyze a Reddit user. We're gonna keep going.
Any genuine discussion about games gets drowned out for low-effort karma baiting posts. You'd be better off going onto a specific subreddit for a game that you actually like to discuss anything gaming related,
Shadow the
as opposed
Hedgehog.
to risking getting downvoted by the unwashed gaming masses. Now, r/gaming, while very boring and generic, is pretty harmless at the end of the day. It's not like they're harassing people and sending them death threats for simply playing a game that they don't like. Speaking of, let's talk about Gaming Circle Jerk.
Let's be honest. All Reddit pages at some point have probably done some kind of harassment campaign. It's Reddit. Yeah, you're trying to analyze someone who's probably drinks their own pee in their spare time. Fucking true. that or they recycle their semen. Probably both.
Now, circle jerking on Reddit is really an art form. Some of the funniest subreddits of all time, in my opinion, are circle jerk subreddits. Particularly any sports subreddit, like the NBA circle jerk. I mean, some of this shit fucking kills me. Basically, the point of a circle jerk subreddit is to satirize the original subreddit, if that makes sense.
Good.
It's supposed to be a parody of the original.
I do like those. I do like the circle. I will say this, circle jerk subreddits are so funny, but people get so pissed off at them not realizing they're jokes. They're like one of the few things out of Reddit that's actually funny because it's like ironic, but people get so offended. It's like, they're making fun of the Reddit I like to go to. Mods. They're targeting me because they're talking about a Reddit I like. Take them down.
Original subreddit and making fun of the stereotypes there. So you'd assume r/gaming circle jerk would be funny. I mean, gamers are the easiest group of people in the entire world to parody, especially ones who take themselves too seriously.
Fucking certified ninja moment.
They have so much material to work with. So that was the original point of r/gaming circle jerk. Let's make fun of stereotypical gamers in an ironic way, and I will admit, some of the posts are actually kind of...
What the hell happened? I just reset my PC. We finished the last video and now we're talking about Reddit. It's a dark, we're going down the dark timeline. Specifically, it's talking about Ghost Gum's Toxic World of Reddit Gaming. Very good content creator, very good video so far. We just learned what r/gaming was, which was Reddit cancer, as with everything on Reddit, and now we're talking about a additional subreddit that's designed to make fun of them. And we're gonna see how r/gaming reacts to r/gaming circle jerk and see it. And you know, I'm sure there are adults who will handle this in a very professional, reasonable, logical manner, right?
Funny, especially
Right.
the old ones. The subreddit leaned into the fact gamers don't want gay
Reddit
people
off
in
to
their
start,
games
off
or
to a great
women
start
and
for sure.
minorities. And if you see where this is going, don't worry, we'll get there. Honestly, there is potential for humor there, and overall, it started as any other circle jerk
Microtransactions
subreddit.
suck.
It did have political leanings, but honestly, regardless of the bias, comedy is comedy, and I think people can acknowledge that. This all changed when a certain video game was announced.
Uh-oh.
The game that must
Uh-oh, chat. It's that game. If I get 500 subs, I will play Hogwarts Legacy on stream.
not be named. Hogwarts Legacy. For some reason, this game became the most controversial game of all time.
Dude, people went fucking bananas over this game. There was like VTubers who got like chased off the internet because they fucking played this game. It's absolutely unreal how serious people took this shit. If you go out, like, okay, you don't have to like J.K. Rowling. You don't even have to like Harry Potter. You can even believe that this game is a transphobic landmine designed to destroy the LGBTQ. You could believe all that dumb shit. I lose any respect I have for you the moment you start harassing people about it. Right? You know, make a good argument, don't bully people. That's where I draw the line. And anything you have to say is complete, and even if it's a good point and you're right, as soon as you start bullying people about it, anything you have to say is completely null and void, and your opinion is non-existent to me.
And that is saying.
In fact, I will actually, I would have played this just to spite people if I was streaming at the time.
When games like Hatred.
What's the YouTube equivalent of a Twitch stub and actual donation? They have super. I can't do it yet because my YouTube is not monetized. I have to meet several requirements, which is fine. I don't really care about the money realistically. But they have something called super chats they do, which basically highlight your your what's it called? Fuck. It highlights your comment, and depending on how much you donate, it will leave it up there for an X amount of time. So, let's say you donate $5, it'll be up there for like 5 minutes. If you donate $10, it'll be up there for 10 minutes, kind of deal. And it's a nice little way if you're talking in a chat where there's a lot of people, it'll guarantee your content creator sees what you have to say, and while supporting the content creator. But again, if you're looking to activate it for me, it's don't worry about it. It's not gonna be for a bit. And I don't even care if it was, so. But that's what it is. It uses super chats. There's also something like stickers. I don't know what that does. And then there's memberships, which is just like the Twitch Prime and Twitch sub equivalent. But I think that's how YouTube does it.
And Manhunt exist. But why is the game about magic wizards the most controversial game ever? Because apparently J.K. Rowling is a TERF. This post from one of the mods came out and basically broke from the circle jerk and said anyone who...
Okay, I got a confession to make. I agree with J.K. Rowling. So what it was is that I think she said that trans women should not compete against biological women. And I think that's a very base take that a majority of people agree with. I don't think that makes you anti-trans. I don't think that makes you anti-woman. I don't think that makes you anti-anything. I think it's a very valid criticism that trans people should not compete in sports. You could identify as a woman all you like. I'm not saying you can't be the person you were always meant to be. But that does not mean you could get into an MMA ring with a biological woman and have her leave looking like a domestic abuse victim because you decided to identify as trans 4 months prior. That's a very specific note. If you know, you know. But the point is like I think J.K. Rowling is right, and I think people are fucking dipshits for thinking that she's a transphobe. And now I actually do think she's leaning heavily towards transphobia, if she does, and it's because people pushed her to that. She had said nothing prior to that like made any indication that she was she hated trans people. It's just people blowing shit out of proportion because someone they idolized didn't agree with them on one thing. And again, if you harass people, if you bully people, if you demean people for differing opinions that don't hurt anybody, which it doesn't, then you're the asshole. And anything you have to say is completely null. And your opinions don't matter. I'm letting you guys know about my positioning on this. So there's no confusion. I'm not gonna sit here and like, yeah, no, totally, she's a TERF. I'll believe whatever the internet wants me to believe. That's not this. We're not Ludwig. This isn't Moist Critical. I'm not gonna have some watered down opinion. I do have some opinions, and again, I don't care if you're trans. I appreciate you, and your feelings are valid. That does not mean there isn't such a biological difference that competing in sports it does not affect it.
Supports anything J.K. Rowling has ever done is a transphobe.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
What? I'm not going to get into all the J.K. Rowling stuff because that is a Bosnian
Yeah,
minefield, and
it
you
is.
probably know about it anyway. But she didn't even write or do anything with the game.
Yeah.
It was a completely different team. I guess she collects royalties, but still, like, I don't know why.
yeah.
Why not boycott like the books or streaming platforms that have the movies if you're that passionate about it? I don't understand why this game in particular was the big one. Maybe I'm just not good at protesting. Also, I've played the game. There's literally a trans person in the game. But if you want to boycott something, sure, be my guest. Just don't buy it. Hell, even make a statement about why you're not buying it and move on. I don't think anyone's going to get upset with that. Nobody is forcing you to buy a game. But
Yeah,
no, that's not enough.
Nobody's holding a gun to your head to buy it. If the general sentiment is that what it is bad, then the marketplace will decide that, right? Then it would be a commercial failure. But you can't sit here and bully people into
For
it just
Redditors.
because
These
to make
people
yourself
went
feel
on
better.
a warpath against this game, and anyone who was even remotely excited about the idea of a real Harry Potter game for the first time in like ever. It got so out of hand that most rational people were like, okay, Jesus guys, fucking relax. I'm not sure when people will realize that demonizing everyone around you doesn't make your cause sympathetic and actually does the opposite. The whole subreddit became dedicated to Hogwarts Legacy and how nobody should buy this game. I got something that's hilarious. Let's bully and harass people who decide to play this game.
Bullshit.
Notoriously left-wing streamer wants to play it? Shut it down.
The only reason why I'm not playing this game, and
No
I
one
know a
cares
bunch
what
of other
Hassan
people are
Piker
not
thinks. He's
playing
just
this
as
game,
bad as they are.
is
I don't have
because
any
we
sympathy
know
for him.
that it's not worth it to get fucking bullied endlessly and called transphobic endlessly.
But yeah,
I got
fair.
fucking yelled at endlessly and relentlessly on my alt account. Like they were
It's because you're catering to a group of crazy people, Hassan. You need to break out of the
making
matrix.
it seem like I was already transphobic for even thinking about this. And now look at that.
Other streamer says he enjoys the game. Send him death threats right now.
People have been apparently attacking me for supporting Hogwarts Legacy. I didn't even know I was getting harassed. I had no idea about this. Yeah, I come back, I'm like, I read this and I'm like, I see this video, I'm like, wait, I'm getting harassed, I'm being attacked. Wait, what? I thought everybody agreed with me.
A wholesome YouTube.
Bro, I strive for that position where you could get harassed and attacked and not even like know about it.
YouTube channel
That's
who's streaming
amazing.
the game and donating all the proceeds to a charity that helps trans people. Literally the whole point of our boycott. Let's harass them to the point where they cry on stream.
And every time I look at chat, it's just the conversation is just like
Maybe we can do like
bothering me.
be right back.
Oh my god, that's awful.
Little break or something.
Oh,
We're the
no.
compassionate ones here. We're doing this for your own good. This boots on the ground work will surely affect.
I hate that. I hate fucking bullies. I absolutely despise anybody who's a bully, and I especially hate cry bullies.
Affect the game sales. And you know what, guys? We did it. I am so proud of this community. We made Hogwarts Legacy the best-selling game of the year, outselling Zelda, Call of Duty, and all the other games here. Mission accomplished. And to this day, there are still...
That's another thing, that I think the backlash was so grandiose for this game that it actually ended up having the opposite effect, and people ended up just buying it out of spite. You know, when you act like an asshole, people are gonna act like an asshole to you back.
People on this subreddit talking about Hogwarts Legacy. It comes across as like a derangement syndrome where these people just cannot let it go that this game sold well despite them boycotting it. Anyone making jokes or saying, hey guys, let's maybe chill on the harassment, boom, you are banned, buddy. The irony of a Circle Jerk subreddit not being able to take a joke is not lost on me. They literally turned into what they hated the most. They were supposed to parody the toxic game.
Does that mean that there's a gaming circle jerk? Quick, somebody make the Reddit.
But they ended up just becoming toxic gamers. I hate saying the word gamer. It feels dirty. I hate... Now this subreddit is notorious for harassing people, even mentioning them. So I ask all the gaming circle jerkers, please do not leave super thanks comments that are death threats on this video. Please, I'm begging you, because if there's super thanks, I will have to read them. So please do not do that on this video. Okay, so now you've seen how toxic this side of gaming is. Are you ready to see the other side? Let's talk about the Voldemort of Reddit gaming. r/Gamers Rise Up. Now Gamers Rise Up, like Gaming Circle Jerk, was supposed to be a parody subreddit, but instead of
course,
whatever this is, they'd play into the stereotype to an absolute extreme, pushing the boundaries as far as they possibly could.
Hang on. Let's stop. Let's go back for a second.
Extreme.
What was that
Pushing
dragon
the
one? Gamers, microtransactions, loot boxes, EA, minorities in Israel. That's so goofy. Do people actually think like that? Like these three heads I agree with. These two, like, I don't even know where you would even fucking get that mentality.
As far as they
That's
possibly
so
could.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
Typically with an ironic incel-like touch, often featuring
There's
the
no way
Joker
that's
in
real.
typical incel fashion. I know the Joker scene is kind of a meme right now, but back in the day, people used to make stuff like this, unironically. Now, these Gamers Rise Up
Those were the
posts were
best.
very edgy sometimes, but it's important to understand the context. This was done as a parody of gamers. People would unironically post shit like this. Does it cause physical pain to you to know that somebody made this seriously like it does to me? I know that in our hyper-ironic current climate, you'd assume these are fake, but I assure you, they are not. So the joke was to crank this gamer energy up to 100 and post hyper-ironic memes featuring the Joker.
So did they like... So let me just get this straight. So they used the Joker ironically, but they did it so well that people started using it unironically, or was it I think that's what it was.
I mean,
The fucking AI Trump though.
The world is a mess.
The original point of Gamers Rise Up was to make fun of these cringe incel gamers. Weirdly enough, it was doing the exact same thing as Gaming Circle Jerk, just with a different spin. The best way to understand this is think of them parodying the
Nice guy syndrome. Level 1, barely a nice guy. Nice guy syndrome, almost undetected aside from rare comment. Probably doesn't even wear fedora. Somewhat nice guy, very nice guy. Such a nice guy. Fuck TM. I like how the fedora just gets bigger.
trope. It makes a lot more sense that way. Now, most people can look at these and either go, yeah, this is obviously a joke, or at the bare minimum, my God, that is embarrassing if that is real. But honestly, there's so much irony in these that you'd have to be a total fool to think these were serious, right? Well, you should never underestimate the stupidity of incel Redditors. You see, there's a thing you might have heard of called Poe's Law. Basically, on the internet, unless you explicitly say you're joking, people will think that you're serious due to the nuances of an actual conversation being lost behind a screen. So unless you make the description of your gamer Joker post this is a parody, some people are bound to take it seriously. And unfortunately for Gamers Rise Up, that is exactly what happened. They had people flooding the subreddit with posts that weren't dripped in nearly as much irony as before, and even worse, people in the comments sympathizing with these sentiments, even though the jokes were supposed to be at their expense. This also happened to occur after r/incels was banned, and clearly some of these people took refuge in r/gamers.
That's what it was. It's like when the Tumblr exodus happened, Tumblr went to Twitter, and Twitter became way more Tumblr-like. It was just incels looking for a home.
Rise Up. In a weird horseshoe way, like Gaming Circle Jerk, it ended up turning into the subreddit it was trying to parody. Except this one was fully banned, with all spin-off subs being banned as well. And in a
I mean, in all fairness, if they were being racist like that, like some of the comments they chose, it's not good. I don't blame Reddit for taking them down.
Way, I kind of understand why it was banned, even if the original was so goddamn funny. So where does this leave gamers today? Do they still have a safe space? Well, you'll be happy to know the most oppressed group of people in human history can take refuge in Reddit Gaming India. Thanks for watching.
Reddit Gaming India. Okay, I might be biting myself in the foot, but I kind of want to see Reddit Gaming India. Idea in India. We're gonna watch that. Hang on. Indian Gaming. Is this what it is? Page has been disabled. No! I don't think this is the right one. It might have been taken down. Okay. That was pretty fun. You know what? I think Ghost Gum, again, if you want a good channel to watch, they do a really, really good job. I really, really like their stuff. Before we move on to my next video, is there anything you guys want to watch? Specifically? Is there any videos you want to view? Because I'm taking suggestions now. If not, we're gonna go into this one, the Ashes of Creation one. But before we do that, we can I'm willing to watch something you guys want. I'm almost out of water. I'm gonna have to get some here in a minute. Okay. Well, if anybody doesn't have anything, we could watch this one. This is so Ashes of Creation is a game I've been looking really forward to. I've talked about it several times on here. And there's this content creator named Narc, just N-A-R-C. He's very good. I really like his stuff. Not only is he really entertaining, but he also knows what he's talking about, and he talks about a lot of MMOs in regards to Ashes of Creation, but he's a predominantly Ashes of Creation creator. And this is in response to the launch at the A1 launch for Ashes of Creation. Which I have a feeling I know what it is, but we're gonna figure it out together. I think I know what it is. It's either gonna be about the PvP problem, which they recently addressed not too long ago, or the fact that there's not a lot of, that the starting area was a little bit complicated. I think there was some people getting really frustrated trying to figure out what to do on starting day. And it's probably gonna be one of those two problems, but we're gonna figure it out together. So let's see what our good boy Narc has to say.
So with new players finally getting
I'm so excited for this game.
One of its major problems is starting to.
The only reason I'm not streaming it is because it's still in alpha status and it's still very much in development to where I don't think it's worth me playing. But this game is already so good. I'm so excited for the full game to come out.
MMORPG has a lot of complicated systems that the majority of players find completely and utterly new.
I mean, with any MMO, really.
Sit back, relax, and grab yourself Culpa Kyola because one of the largest
did the
content
thing.
creators on Twitch.tv dipped his toes into the game last
Oh, is that
weekend,
soda
and their
poppin'?
starting experience left him confused, to say the least. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Ashes of Creation's first impressions on your average player and the importance
Okay, so
of
it's not the PvP thing. It's the how people were really frustrated at the beginning,
easing the layman,
which is
into
very valid. I
Stephen
think
Sharif's
it was very
ambitious
complicated.
vision. Now, with all that
But it's
bollocks
still
out of the
alpha,
way,
so
let's begin, shall
average player experience, a breakdown by the dented one.
I want to become a mayor. Interested in becoming a season. I'm looking to help around this node. He's still fucking grayed out like I need to do something. That's just a city marker, so it's not quests? I mean, he's really fucking highlighted, though. I don't know how to harvest any of these things. Harvest ash, western lark, weathered oak. I don't
Gotta
have a
hold
quest
down
for that.
F.
Read, bro. I have read. I visited the Ember Spring. I should return to an official. Where the fuck is an official? I don't fucking know. Deliver cargo to the storage clerk at any crossroads or higher level node. I don't know what the fuck a node is. I have no fucking idea.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what any of these icons on the minimap are. I thought these books were quests.
They are
They're
quests.
not. Then I thought these silver boxes were quests.
In all fairness, I think the quests were kind of glitched out. Like, you would do them and then the books wouldn't disappear or they wouldn't move. I think the first, if I remember correctly, the first weekend there was like a bit of a glitch fest going on, dude. But you know, and you know, to Soda Poppin's credit, like they don't really they didn't explain anything. They're assuming you already know a lot of this stuff, and the stuff you would need to know is you would need to watch the live streams, but not everybody watched the live streams. So I think his frustration is actually pretty valid. As much as I love this game.
There's no, I don't know what the fuck to do. I look at the map, I look for little highlighted yellow circles. I found when I did it, now they're gone. Now what? I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Yeah. Take a break.
So, first and foremost, let me
Come
just
back
get one
when
thing
the game's
straight. The
finished.
starting experience is extremely important
True.
for an MMORPG. If
Yeah.
you're of the opinion that a game like Ashes of Creation
Look at
should
him
not
glitch.
have any tutorials or systems to explain how the world works,
Dude, the fucking starting area was so fucking buggy, bro. There were so many people there that everybody was lagging and rubber banding. Shit wouldn't load in.
question your
was
integrity
great.
to the open development process. Advocating for less tutorials and saying you don't want it to hold your hand is absolutely not acceptable in the current year, especially for a multi-layered game like an MMORPG. This isn't 1999 anymore, boomers. Stop trying to gatekeep people's fun. Ashes
True.
of Creation has an insane amount of interlinking systems, and just for context, because I'm pretty sure
There's a reason why games like EverQuest aren't as popular anymore, and that's because the barrier to entry is insanely more complicated than it would be for other MMOs. I mean, the reason why WoW took off is because it had a really good starter experience that let you learn the mechanics of the game within the first 10 levels, and by level 10 you're able to go out on your own, and by level 15 you're able to do, or by level 10 you're able to do dungeons, and like by level 15 you're able to do PvP. It did a really good job with level progression, whereas like games like EverQuest that didn't technically hold your hand did horrible at. And the mentality is like, well, you shouldn't be treating gamers like they're stupid. It's like, the problem is the general populace is stupid, and while I agree that they shouldn't hold your hand for the entirety of the game, at least in the starting area where you're learning the mechanics, there does need to be some kind of some kind of guide, right? Like you know, a good example would be if you guys ever played OSRS, there was a tutorial island where it basically taught you all the mechanics of the game before you even got into the game. And by the time you got into the game, you knew how to play the game, right? So even if you didn't want to hold the person's hand for the entirety of the game, they still had to teach you how to play the game. And games like EverQuest and Ultima Online just didn't do that, and the people who call for like the old days of gaming were people who either never played them or they're just old bastards who just live in the past, whose best time was in gaming with their homies in high school back in the late 90s, right? And then just never grew out of it. So I agree with Narc. You have to have some kind of direction at the very least in the beginning, and then if you want the world to open up properly, that would be then that would be okay, but you have to teach them where to go and how to do things before you do
Sure,
that.
even you're not aware of
Especially since MMOs in general are super complicated.
just how complicated things are, I'll explain to you the loop that the game requires players to understand.
Yeah. Magical wiki systems. Yeah, that don't exist.
You choose between
I
9
know where
races
he's
and 8
going with
classes,
this.
each with a skill tree that boasts up to 40 spells and double that in passives. In addition, there are backgrounds players choose to complement their playstyles, but as you progress, you're introduced to racial
High School
augments,
Gaming,
religious
true.
augments, and then eventually a 64-class system, adding 32 possible variants to all of your spells. The game also has a roster of at least 12 diverse weapons that have passive skill trees, you progress, and 3 armor types that offer set bonuses to complement the playstyle that you enjoy.
Keeping
Once you're in
up.
the world, you're then introduced to its content types. Ashes of Creation has traditional quests, but also feature a plethora of other content types that are more niche: commissions, story arcs, events, caravans, and side quests. But then we have the game's crown jewel, the node system.
Hope
These are
you're
places in
taking
the world
notes.
that act as the game's major cities. In total, the game has 85 spread across 18 biomes and offer different services depending on one of 4 types: economic, scientific, military, and divine, with each being able to grow in size from the wilderness stage all the way up to metropolis. At level 10, you have the ability to become a citizen at one of these nodes, which gives you the ability to purchase a plethora of different housing types, such as renting a room at an inn, instance apartments, open world node housing, but also the freeholds. What are freeholds? Don't worry about that for now, because being a citizen also gives you the right to vote for a mayor, who then chooses which buildings your node wants, which then offer buffs to increase the efficiency of your artisan skills. What are artisan skills? Well, let me tell you. You see,
Oh
Ashes
my
of Creation has
gosh.
22 different artisan skills broken into 3 major categories: gathering, processing, and crafting.
Dude, I forget how much shit is gonna be in this game. It's so fucking and it's this way with a lot of MMOs, but there's so much stuff to remember. Like look at all these fucking skills and shit. Like the point he's trying to make is that there's just too much shit for people to learn in one sitting, right? Like there has to be something teaching you, and if the experience doesn't teach you properly, like you're gonna flounce. The game will flounce, and we don't want the game to flounce. We like this game. This game's gonna change the MMO industry for the better, chat. I swear it's gonna be the greatest MMO ever. It will be in the next once it's released in the next 5 years. 5 years later, we'll come back to this. It'll be the greatest one in the next.
And can be leveled up to level 50, with each individual artisan skill having a skill tree, armor to progress, and pilot.
Again, first 10 levels need to be tutorial levels. And it's like that's so many levels. It's really not for an MMO. You need tutorial levels to figure out how to do shit. First 10 are perfect for it.
Which add more depth to the
And
system.
then the
This doesn't
world
even
can
begin to
open
touch
up.
upon the dynamic world dungeons, ocean and boat mechanics, raids, economy instances, corruption, bounty hunters, and world PvP. I think you're starting to get the point, right? This MMO needs to teach players about all of these things, and if they do not, then I think that is the game just failing to do its job, and thus players will quit before.
That's a lot of info I'm not taking in for my 2 IQ brain. Do I need a PDH to learn this game? Well, that's the thing, right? You shouldn't have to. It's on the development team to make the experience where you can learn it. And again, keep in mind this game is in the alpha development stage. It is still extreme. It's only alpha 2. It's extremely early on and extremely limited. They're not even testing the systems yet. They're literally just testing they're stress testing how many people they can have on there at the moment. That's how early on in this development it is. But the point he's trying to make, when the game does come out and when the game is finished, these problems cannot persist. And he's bringing a point into like how important it is to teach people how to properly play their game so people can enjoy the game and not have to like have a PhD in fucking computer science to understand it, right? Like he's making a very good point. Absolutely.
Even Sharif and his team even have a chance to show
You shouldn't have a PhD, but it's on the development team to make sure you don't need to have one.
players what made MMORPGs great, or more importantly, what makes Ashes of Creation different to our currently popular MMOs. So how do we fix that? I think Soda Poppin's response to the game's overwhelming amount of systems is a perfect example of what the layman will think after they log in.
We can make fun of Soda Poppin for having like an extreme reaction, but it's a genuinely valid reaction to being overwhelmed with such systems. Damn, my dyslexic ass just saw it. It's all good. I read it as PDH at first, but I think second time around I realized you meant PhD. Either way, the point remains. I got what you were saying.
And currently, the starting experience does have a lot of critique for it. I personally felt like it was a lot of busy work for crafting systems that most players won't really care about, or more accurately, perhaps, will likely forget by the time they arrive at a node. And thus, I think the starting experience should really focus on the system that players are going to engage in the most.
Combat and
apparently,
questing.
according to feedback at least, the game does really well. Yes, the combat.
Yeah, I called it.
Embrace the combat side of the game and use it.
I agree. That's how it should be. Like WoW did that really, really well with its leveling system. You know, again, by level 10, you were ready to go out in the world and do all kinds of stuff and gather and craft and shit. But you didn't do that before you did all the questing and leveling and shit and learning the mechanics of the game.
To teach players how to survive against the world's threats. I would much rather see quests at the start be way more focused around recapturing lion.
I would say that if they were going to do a questing system, here's how I would do it. I'd say the first 5 levels is just quests and combat. You know, similar to WoW. I think they're trying to make leveling a little bit longer. I think they said that it would take about a month to get the full level with how they want to do it, which means it's going to be very grindy. But the first couple levels at the very least should only be questing and combat. Absolutely. And then maybe not till level 5 you could do crafting, right? Because at level 5 you should be able to know how to do combat questing and all that stuff. And then you know, as you go on, it just progresses from there.
And hold
That's
from
how
the
I would do
ancient
it.
threats as they pour down onto the denizens of Vera returning to their homeland. I'd want to see way more focus on that combat side of things that have a sense of purpose with
You can't do anything in the game until you learn combat because the world is dangerous and you will get killed pretty quickly.
lore-heavy implications of why we're returning, what the threats are, and why we need to venture out and reclaim this land. It feels like the current iteration of throwing a bunch of artisan skills at players with very little purpose is just overwhelming to the layman. Too many systems, too much jargon,
And the worst part is you had to do it because in order to get your first mount, you had to complete that fucking artisan skill quest he's talking about. The one that has you like running out all over the place. So in order to get a horse, you had to get it. But again, it's a little bit more forgivable because it is an alpha, but I do think his point stands. I do think it's very reasonable concern and it's good to voice this now before development gets so far that that you don't get you can't rectify it, right?
Very little reason to care. What is a node? Where is a node? Why do nodes even matter?
Yeah.
None of these are properly taught to the players. Ideally,
They're
I
just
think
assumed,
later
you know,
in the game's life, as we
and a
approach
lot of
the
people
launch in
didn't.
2077, the starting experience should actually start in Sanctus, the pocket dimension that we've all been living in for 2,500 years, explaining
Hey,
why
it's
the
Stephen
portals
Sharif.
have reopened, teaching players what a node is, the mayors, the housing, how the combat works, what citizens are, etc., etc. You know, something like Tutorial Island. from
see,
RuneScape,
look at
but
that.
much more involved, as Ashes of Creation is obviously featuring a lot more layers. I think right now, in order to keep the layman engaged in Ashes of Creation and actually make it past that starting experience, systems like artisan skills, the inventory, and gathering should be a loop that is taught to players after the game explains the basics, like combat, progression, and questing. Give
I would
players
agree
the
with that.
breathing room to just immerse themselves in the world and allow them to
I think combat and questing are the first things, and then also the storyline. More complex features should come later.
onboard things at their own pace, instead of forcing it on them against their will through a quest chain involving running back and forth to AFK processing stations. I get that completely overhauling the game's starting experience is going to take a lot of work and effort, but that is what open development is all about, right?
Yeah.
The layman isn't going to have a chat teaching you how to play, or even friends showing you what to do. A player should not have to read a 500-page wiki to understand how certain systems work. And I think it's the game's job to teach their players how to play. But this is a long
Nerk is a smart guy. He's a goofy guy, but he's a very smart guy.
long-term solution that Intrepid can act upon throughout the following years of development. So what about now? How can Intrepid fix the things ready for the new wave of players on the 8th? Well, currently, the tutorial tooltips in the game are very basic and almost unnoticeable. For me, I don't even remember them popping up for some reason, and it's not like I went into the settings and disabled them at any point. Not sure if it was a bug or something, but I think it's perfectly okay for tutorials to be, lack of a better phrase, in your face. It feels like there's this unnecessary
I mean, okay, what I will say is I don't like it when they pop up in your face. Like one thing I dislike about Modern WoW is that they just fucking have everything pop up at you at once. I don't like that. I do think it should be more noticeable, either having a tab for tutorials or maybe like a or maybe like something they could pull up on their own where it's not cluttered, so that people who are familiar with the game don't have to deal with it, or at the very least turn it off, right? You know, make it where it's very easy to turn off if you don't want the tutorials. But I think tutorials should be noticeable, but it should not be so noticeable that it's like obnoxious, right?
About
That's the
no
word I was thinking. Like
hand-holding
obnoxiously
in
noticeable.
video games, but there's a huge difference between smearing cum all over the ground because devs don't trust players to use their brains and not giving the players the actual information to know
agree.
what to do. Again, I think Sodapoppin's confusion about what is a node, what are these icons, and the sheer amount of quests getting thrown at you at the start is a really clear example of why a linear experience to ease players into the game is going to be very important. Giving us freedom is great, but there's a time and a place for it, and in my opinion, Ashes of Creation is just too complicated for players to be treated like they already know what to do, and thus will result in confusion and a huge amount of drop-off before players can
You can't assume that everybody knows what they're getting into. They just see a game that's popular and like, oh, I'm gonna be playing that. I want to be a hop on the train. But if they're not familiar with it, they're gonna crash out.
even understand what makes old school philosophies great. But more importantly, and the moral of this video, what makes Ashes of Creation a possible candidate for standing among the giants of the MMORPG genre. But as usual, I am just one nerd, desperate for a good MMO, and my opinion means nothing without yours in the comments below. And hey, with only 2 days left now until we can play Ashes of Creation again, excitement is starting to bubble within the tip of my
that was
tongue.
pretty good.
So come join us over at Twitter.
I think you made some good points. I think I agree with them mostly. I don't think anything he said was that controversial at all. It's a general good sentiment that people should be given the opportunity to know what they're getting into, for sure. I think again, that was Narc. Ashes of Creation faces first major problem by Narc. Very good content creator. You should check it out. I think I'm gonna call it here. My back is starting to hurt. I think it was a pretty fun stream, and I can't wait for next week. I still have this one, which is like the Stalker VTuber that I was going to do tonight. But I'm starting to like feel the pain, so I'll save this one for next week. We'll pick up on this one. I hope everybody has a good night, though. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all have like a lovely evening.